Cabinet appoints new heads for Investment Board and University Grants Commission, announces relief for victims of Sunsari and Sira protest. Dengue infection surpassed 2,000 cases across Nepal as monsoon intensifies. Authorities urge public to remain vigilant. Technical failures halt Nepal's driving license and national identity card services for weeks. Disruptions delays passport applications, among others. US President Donald Trump warns Iran will be hit very hard unless the strategic strait reopened as talks were ongoing. China warns of an increased likelihood of strong El Nino. Experts say the climate pattern could disrupt global weather over the coming year. And FIFA President Gianni Infantino faces growing pressure over FIFA controversy. FIFA leaders meet amid criticism over commercial plan. Good evening, I'm Suveksha Rajak and this is NTV World Primetime News. We are coming to you live from Kathmandu at 1900 hours Nepal time. Elsewhere, it's 13:15 in London, 22:15 in Tokyo, and just after midnight in Sydney. Now, the news in details. The government has appointed Yangki Ukyab as the new Chief Executive Officer of the Investment Board Nepal, while Professor Dr. Khadga Kesi has been named Chairperson of the University Grants Commission and Professor Dr. Rosie Shrestha as its Member Secretary. The Cabinet also decided to provide compensation relief and medical treatment to those killed and injured during the recent protest in Sunsari and Siraha. In addition, it approved the First Amendment to the Statistics Regulations 2083 and decided to dissolve the Nepal Intermodal Transport Development Committee by merging its responsibility into the Nepal Transit and Warehousing Company Limited.
सर्वप्रथम प्रधानमन्त्री तथा मन्त्री परिषदको कार्यालयबाट तथ्याङ्क पहिलो संशोधन नियमावली 2083 स्वीकृत गर्ने प्रधानमन्त्री तथा मन्त्री परिषदको कार्यालयकै दोस्रो लगानी बोर्डको प्रमुख कार्यकारी अधिकृत पदमा श्री याङ्की उक्याब काठमाडौँलाई नियुक्ति गर्ने अर्को उद्योग वाणिज्य तथा आपूर्ति मन्त्रालयबाट नेपाल इन्टरमोडल यातायात विकास समिति गठन आदेश 2054 खारेज गर्ने र नेपाल इन्टरमोडल यातायात विकास समितिलाई नेपाल पारवहन तथा गोदाम व्यवस्था कम्पनी लिमिटेडसँग गाभ्न स्वीकृति दिने कृषि वन तथा पर्यावरण मन्त्रालयबाट छ पशु बत्साला र मासु जाँच ऐन 2055 चरणबद्ध रूपमा नेपाल राज्यभर लागू गर्ने अर्को महिला मन्त्रालयबाट छ बालबालिका सम्बन्धी पहिलो संशोधन विधेयक 2083 संघीय संसद समक्ष पेश गर्न स्वीकृति प्रदान गर्ने शिक्षा तथा खेलकुद मन्त्रालयबाट विश्वविद्यालय अनुदान आयोगमा रिक्त रहेको अध्यक्ष पदमा प्राध्यापक डाक्टर खड्कबहादुर केसी पर्वत र सचिव पदमा प्राध्यापक डाक्टर रोजी श्रेष्ठ भोजपुरलाई नियुक्ति गर्ने अन्तिममा सुनसरी र सिराहा जिल्लामा भएको प्रदर्शनका क्रममा मृत्यु हुने र घाइतेहरूलाई क्षतिपूर्ति राहत उपचारको व्यवस्था गर्ने
Today's Council of Ministers meeting also endorsed the phased nationwide implementation of the Slaughterhouse and Meat Inspection Act and approved the Child-Related First Amendment Bill 2083 for presentation in the Federal Parliament. Moving on, main opposition Nepali Congress has demanded the formation of an independent high-level judicial commission to conduct a fair, impartial and credible investigation into the recent Devanganj-Kaptanganj incident in Sunsari. Speaking at the press conference, party spokesperson Devraj Chalisay said the government's handling of the incident reflected a lack of restraint and accountability, raising serious concerns over its commitment to good governance. The party claimed public trust in the government has continued to decline due to repeated governance failures and questioned why the government has remained silent despite the National Human Rights Commission already submitted its report on the incident.
जुन संस्थाको कमजोरी छ त्यही संस्थाले आफ्नो कमजोरी लुकाउन बनाइएको समितिले यसको स्थायी समाधान दिँदैन फेरि यस्ता घटना नघटोस् यो किन संवेदनशील विषय हो यस्ता चीजहरु दोहोरिएर घट्नु हुँदैन त्यसकारण सरकारी कमजोरी लुकाउने समितिका प्रति हाम्रो विश्वास छैन र त्यसैले सरकारी समिति होइन स्वतन्त्र निष्पक्ष र विश्वसनीय उच्च स्तरीय न्यायिक आयोग गठन गर्नुपर्दछ र यो मागलाई गम्भीरतापूर्वक सरकारले लिनुपर्छ
The party also raised concerns over the passport procurement process, alleging that government's transparency and intentions in the deal have come under serious public scrutiny. Nepal railway services have resumed normal operations on the Jayanagar-Janakpur Dham Kurtha Singyahi route after an agreement was reached between government authorities and protesters. Rail services had been temporarily suspended during the Madhya province shutdown called by the Hindu Religious Followers Struggle Committee, which is demanding that Nepal be declared a Hindu state. Officials reported that passengers have returned in large numbers since services resumed. The Nepal Railway Company stated the railway operates 6 round trips daily and has the capacity to carry around 3,000 passengers each day. The railway continues to provide a safe, affordable and convenient mode of transportation for people living along the Nepal-India border. The Nepal Railway Company currently operates 2 modern trains on the route supporting cross-border travel, trade, education, access to healthcare and religious tourism. The government has introduced the National Agriculture Policy 2083 with the goal of transforming Nepal's agriculture into modern, commercial, competitive and self-reliant sector. The policy places food security, food sovereignty, increased farmer income, higher agriculture production, import substitution and export promotion among its key priorities. Agriculture, Forest and Environment Minister Geeta Chaudhary said the policy aims to address long-standing challenges while promoting a sustainable and productively driven agricultural system. The policy outlines measures to tackle land fragmentation, expanding barren farmland, inadequate irrigation and storage infrastructure, youth migration, climate change impacts, low productivity and rising import dependence. The ministry says effective implementation will rely on close coordination among the federal, provincial and local governments backed by legal institutional reforms, adequate financing, private sector participation and regular monitoring and evaluation. We are going for a short break here. More news coming up. Do stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching NTV World Primetime News. Nepal has recorded 2,025 confirmed dengue cases across 72 districts since the beginning of the year, with 2 deaths reported according to the Epidemiology and Disease Control Division. Health officials say Koshi province has reported the highest number of infections with 568 cases, followed by Gandaki with 532, Bagmati with 365, Lumbini with 343, Sudar Pashchim with 103, Madhesh with 72 and Karnali with 42 cases. The division warned that dengue infections typically rise during and after the monsoon season to mosquito breeding conditions become more favorable. Authorities have urged the public to eliminate stagnant water, protect themselves from mosquito bites and seek medical attention immediately if dengue symptoms appear. Floods and landslides have disrupted road transport across Nepal, with 3 highways fully blocked and 6 others partially affected, according to Department of Roads. Authorities say 24 road sections that were blocked by landslides have reopened after temporary repairs, while ongoing rainfall continues to trigger landslides, river erosion, mudslides and road subsidence. As a precaution, overnight traffic has been suspended on the BP highway between Thulikale and Sinduli from 6 p.m. to 4 a.m., while all vehicles are barred from using the Kanti highway in Makwanpur between 5 p.m. and 5 a.m. The Mechi highway in Ilam and sections of the Ornigo highway in Sindhupalchok remain fully closed, while the Lamosangu Ramechap road and Dolka has also been cut off by river erosions, with alternative routes arranged in some areas. Police have urged the public to check the latest road conditions before travelling, warning that heavy rainfall could rapidly change the situation. Moving on, Government of Nepal ultimately aims to replace all state-issued identification cards except passports with the National Identity Card. Without National ID card of number, you cannot even apply for certain services like passport. But the system itself has become ill, with the authorities citing technical issues in upgrading the system. Sabika Shrestha with Pawan Barsha brings more.
Most of the services of Nepal government are undergoing either upgrade or system change, and National Identity Card is one of them. The NID system is undergoing upgrade for more secured and robust cards. The Department of National ID and Civil Registrations says that although some technical issues have emerged in the card issuance process, services are continuing. For the past few weeks, applicants have been experiencing difficulties in obtaining national identity cards due to technical problems. According to the department, the issue lies in the final verification stage of the application process, causing temporary inconvenience to service seekers. However, it claims that all applicants are still being issued a national identity number (NIN), meaning there has been no disruption to services that require the identification number. The department says work is underway to resolve the technical problems, and all services are expected to return to normal within the next few days.
प्राविधिक रूपमा चाहिँ हामीले यसलाई झन् सक्षम बनाउनको लागि, झन् प्रभावकारी बनाउनको लागि चाहिँ हामीले काम गर्दैछौँ। त्यसले गर्दाखेरि थोरै चाहिँ हिजोका दिनमा भन्दा आज केही दिन यता चाहिँ त्यो एप्रुभमा चाहिँ व्यक्तिको निन नम्बर एप्रुभ भएर सिस्टमको जताततै देखिन्छ नि, त्यो सिस्टममा चाहिँ थोरै डाउनसाइजिङ भएको छ।
However, service seekers complain that despite the department accepting applications, they have had to endure various hassles and have not received their national identity cards on time.
हाम्रो अब नयाँ सरकार फेरिसकेपछि चाहिँ अब हाम्रो जनताहरुको लागि सेवाको लागि बनिरहेको हो नि त, त्यसको लागि चाहिँ किनकि हाम्रो जनताको लागि चाहिँ कि अलि छिटो गर्दिने काम अब बनेको टाइममा गर्दिने त्यति भयो जस्तो राम्रो लाग्छ मलाई।
एउटा धेरै ढिलो भयो, सरकारलाई म यति अनुरोध गर्दै छु, यसलाई छिटो भन्दा छिटो चाँडै कोसिस गर्नु, सुधार गर्नु, जनतालाई दुःख नहोस्।
The government is preparing to integrate the national identity card with all government services. It has already linked the card with services including passports, foreign employment, social security, and the office of the company registrar. The national identity card is also now mandatory for services such as land and property transactions, revenue-related services, telecommunications, banking, and other financial services. According to the department, it has so far issued national identity numbers to 20.17 million people and distributed national identity cards to 4 million Nepalis. Sabika Shrestha, NTV World.
It has been more than 20 days since the driving license system across the country has come to a standstill. Since 17th of July, citing technical problems and inadequate preparation during the rollout of new digital licensing system, all services have been closed. Despite repeated postponement of the launch of the new system, the Department of Transport Management is still unclear when the services will resume. Sabika Shrestha with Pramila Bhandari brings more.
Some of the regular state-rendered services, including driving license, have come to a halt across the country for more than 20 days now. Digital server migration and upgrading the system have been cited as the reason, but the prolonged delay in resuming the services have started bothering the general public. Department of Transport Management issuing a public notice halted the services on July 17, saying a new digital licensing system is being installed. Though the initial disruption was expected to last not more than a week, the prolonged delay has affected service seekers. People are facing difficulties in registering new applications, obtaining new license, and renewing existing ones. The only active service at the moment is the distribution of printed licenses under the previous system. Despite the department's announcement that services would be available through the new online system, applicants have been forced to visit transport offices in person only to return without receiving the required services.
बदलिएको नियमअनुसार काम हुनुपर्ने हो त्यो काम भएको जस्तो चाहिँ लागेन त्यो प्राविधिकहरूको अब समस्या होला प्राविधिक कुराहरू नमिलेको होला तर अब नमिलेको होला भनेर चाहिँ सेवाग्राहीले त सन्तोष लिने कुरा त भएन सेवा त चाहिँ दिनु पर्यो.
According to the department, the online system is at the final stage of implementation, but persistent technical issues have delayed its operation. The department discontinued the previous license application system on 16 July 2026 and planned to launch a new technology-based electronic driving license and vehicle registration system in all 7 provinces from 17 July 2026. However, the launch was repeatedly postponed to 20 July, 24 July, and 27 July 2026 after repeated failure of the system. Despite these extensions, the new platform has yet to function fully, leaving uncertainty over when services will resume.
प्रणाली नै सुरु भएको छैन फर्मुलाइज भएको छैन उहाँहरूले ट्रायल पासको रसिद पनि काटेर आएको रसिद पनि जेनेरेट गरेर आउनुभयो ट्रायलै सुरु भएको छैन त्यस्तो त्रुटिहरू छ ती त्रुटिहरू चाहिँ सल्भ नगर्दासम्म त्यो अलिकति समस्या हुन्छ भनेर चाहिँ मन्त्रालय र विभाग लगाइराख्नु भएको छ नयाँ प्रणाली हो अब सुरुवात भइसकेपछि त आउने नै भयो केही त्रुटिहरू आउँछ हैन गर्दै कहाँनिर मिस्टेक हुन्छ त्यो सल्भ गर्दै जाने विषय एउटा रह्यो तर के भन्दाखेरि मिनिमम चाहिँ यो ठीक छ भनेर चाहिँ भन्नुभयो भने हामीले चिठी दिएर यो गर भनेर भन्नुभयो भने हामी सेवा दिन हामी आतुर छौं.
Among those most affected by the prolonged delay are the ones preparing to travel for foreign employment or higher studies. Sabika Shrestha, NTV World.
Dang District Police have recovered 55 illegally possessed muzzle-loading guns hidden in community and national forests during a special security operation. According to District Police Office, the weapons were seized during a 4-day operation conducted from August 1 to 4 based on intelligence report. The guns have been concealed in caves, bushes and behind rocks in various forest areas. The largest catcher was recovered from forest in Banglachuli rural municipality where police found 30 guns hidden in several community forests. Another 7 guns were recovered from the Khaireni forest in Lamahi municipality. Police also seized 13 guns from national and community forest in Banglachuli, while an additional 5 were recovered from nearby community forests, bringing the total number of firearms seized to 55. Authorities said investigations are underway to identify those responsible for hiding the weapons and determine their intended purpose. We'll be back after this short breather. Welcome back. You are watching NTV World Primetime News and it's time for international updates. US President Donald Trump says Iran will be hit very hard unless the strategic Strait of Hormuz is reopened very soon in an interview with Fox News. Trump added that talks were ongoing and that Iran want to make a deal.
The strait's going to be open very soon, or they're going to get hit very hard and then the strait's going to be open. We were going to a tremendous attack, the biggest since World War II. And they called me and said, very politely, please, can we talk? Can we talk? They didn't want. And I said, yes, we can talk. Let's get it done. Finally, let's get it done.
Yemen's Iran-backed Houthi rebels say they have attacked a Saudi oil tanker off the port city of Yanbu in the Red Sea as they continue their declared maritime blockade against Saudi Arabia. The Houthis claim the strike is part of their campaign targeting Saudi-linked shipping, raising concerns over the security of key global trade route.
تمكنت القوات المسلحة اليمنية بفضل الله من استهداف سفينة وفاء النفطية السعودية شمالي البحر الأحمر أمام منطقة ينبع، وذلك بعدد من الصواريخ البالستية، وكانت الإصابة دقيقة بفضل الله. وبهذا الاستهداف يكون إجمالي السفن التي استهدفتها قواتنا 8 سفن نفطية سعودية منذ بدء الحظر البحري في 22 من يوليو الماضي، فيما بلغ إجمالي السفن التي تم منعها وإجبارها على التراجع والعودة في البحرين الأحمر والعربي 29 سفينة نفطية سعودية.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has rejected a US-backed draft proposal on the disarmament and demilitarization of Gaza, saying it does not reflect Israel's position. In a video statement released on Tuesday, Netanyahu said Israeli forces would not withdraw from their current positions until Hamas is completely disarmed, contradicting US President Donald Trump's earlier claim that Israel was satisfied with the proposed framework.
הנשיא טראמפ חושב, צוותו חושבים, שהם יכולים להביא את החמאס להתפרק מנשקו ולפרז את עזה. אנחנו בודקים את זה. הם שלחו לנו טיוטה, לא הסכמנו לה, זו לא טיוטה שלנו, שלחנו את ההערות שלנו.
At least 15 people have been killed and dozens more wounded after Russian missiles and drone strikes hit Kyiv and surrounding regions of Ukraine overnight, authorities said on Wednesday. The barrage struck residential buildings and warehouses across the capital area, triggering fires and causing widespread damage as emergency crews responded at several locations. And international media reported hearing explosions in Kyiv after midnight, with smoke and the smell of burning remaining in parts of the city hours later. The attack comes as Russia has intensified its use of missiles and drones against Ukraine, while Kyiv continues to seek additional air defense systems from its allies. The latest strikes are part of an escalating long-range conflict between Russia and Ukraine, with both sides carrying out attacks far beyond the front lines. Former Bangladeshi Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina is expected to make a rare public appearances via video link from New Delhi, marking her first public address since going into exile after her government was overthrown in 2024. Hasina will join an event hosted by Foreign Correspondent Club of South Asia alongside her son Sajib Wajid Joy and senior leaders of the Awami League. The appearance comes as Bangladesh continues to seek her extradition from India after she was sentenced to death in absentia over allegations that she ordered security forces to fire on anti-government protesters during the 2024 uprising. Japan has conducted a live fire test of a US-made Tomahawk cruise missile launch from one of its naval destroyers in the Pacific Ocean. As Tokyo strengthens its defense capabilities, the missile, which can strike targets at distances of up to 1,000 miles, was fired from Japanese Maritime Self-Defense Forces Tokai warship on July 29. The test comes as Japan expands its military capabilities under a revised security strategy, citing growing regional threats from countries including China, Russia and North Korea. The move marks a shift from Japan's post-World War II pacifist defense posture, which has limited its military role for decades. Two more updates, but before that, time to go for a short break again. The probability of strong El Nino event developing has increased according to China's National Climate Center, raising concerns over possible global weather impacts. The center said sea surface temperatures in the central and eastern equatorial Pacific crossed El Nino thresholds in May, warmed further in June and enters strong El Nino monitoring status in early July. The climate event is expected to continue until at least next spring, lasting around a year. Meteorologists say the effect of strong El Nino events often appear months after the peak, as changes in ocean temperatures gradually influence global weather patterns. A stronger El Nino could affect rainfall temperatures and extreme weather risk in different parts of the world. A severe heat wave sweeping across Europe has pushed temperatures to record levels, triggered high-level alerts, and accelerated the melting of Austria's largest glacier. Austria recorded its hottest days on record, with temperatures in Vienna exceeding 41 degrees Celsius for the first time. While authorities warn that extreme heat will continue in the coming days, the intense temperatures are also affecting the Pastures Glacier, where rapid ice loss has raised concerns that the country's largest glacier could split into two sections this year. Scientists say rising temperatures linked to climate change are accelerating great glacier retreat, with melting seasons in Alps now lasting longer than previous decades. Meanwhile, at Parque Zoo, polar bears and gorillas nibble on ice cream and roll around in piles of snow as the second heat wave of the summer reaches its peak, with national temperatures hitting a near record 41.5 degrees. Polar bear twins Gregor and Elliot receive up to 3 tons of ice on such days, while they munch on ice cream filled with apples, carrots, mackerel and salmon. Zoo officials say the gorillas, for their part, like their ice cream also sweetened with fruit. The World Health Organization is calling for additional international support to contain an Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo, warning that the spread of the disease is exceeding current response capacity. WHO spokesperson Tariq Hassarovic said more funding and resources are needed to expand emergency operations and strengthen efforts to control the outbreak. The agency said the country has recorded 3,748 confirmed Ebola cases, including 1,657 deaths, while hundreds of patients have recovered and thousands of contacts remain under monitoring. Health authorities working with the WHO and other partners are continuing vaccination surveillance and treatment efforts. The WHO also warned of the risk of further transmission due to population movements and the possibility of virus spreading across borders. Time now for the sports update. FIFA President Gianni Infantino has convened a meeting with senior officials in Morocco as pressure mounts over his abandoned proposal to sell part of FIFA's commercial and event operations to private investors. The meeting follows strong criticism from top FIFA executives, including Secretary General Matthias Graf-Sturm and Chief of Global Football Development Arsene Wenger, who said the proposal should never have moved forward. The emergency meeting is expected to focus on restoring trust with FIFA's leadership as Infantino seeks to rebuild support and secure his future at the helm of world football. This brings us to the end of this edition, but before we say goodbye, here is a quick reminder of top stories. Cabinet appoints new heads for Investment Board and University Grants Commission, announces relief for victims of Sunsari and Sirap protest. Dengue infection surpassed 2,000 cases across Nepal as monsoon intensifies. Authorities urge public to remain vigilant. Technical failures halt Nepal's driving license and national identity card services for weeks. Disruptions delays passport applications, among others. US President Donald Trump warns Iran will be hit very hard unless the strategic strait is reopened as talks were ongoing. China warns of an increased likelihood of strong El Nino. Experts say the climate pattern could disrupt global weather over the coming year. And FIFA President Gianni Infantino faces growing pressure over FIFA controversy. FIFA leaders meet amid criticisms of commercial plan. That's it for this edition of Primetime News. Our next bulletin will be at 2200 hours Nepal time. Do join us through our social media and get the latest updates from our official website, nepaltelevision.com. I'm Suveksha Rajak. Thank you for staying with us. Have a wonderful evening ahead.
Welcome to the studios of NTV World in Kathmandu. Public Service Broadcasting PSB Nepal's new initiative to make Nepal more visible and audible to the global audience. Welcome on board.
This is NTV World, facts that speak, insights that matter.
Telling the stories of a changing planet. NTV World, Nepal's perspective to the world.
Exploring the heartbeat of Nepali creativity. This is NTV World.
The power of story shaped by technology. NTV World. Unearthing Nepal's hidden heritage. Discovering the timeless Nepal. Telling stories that endure across centuries. Where culture breathes, stories bloom. When the world moves, we make a sense of it. NTV World, taste of Nepal. Every recipe, every flavor tells the story.
Journalism in the digital age. Fast, focused, verified.
Stories hold power. Stories reflecting life. Stories of the hinterlands. Reporting for NTV World.
This is NTV World. Welcome to News Hour.
This is NTV World. Welcome to Primetime News.
One story at a time.
Crossing borders, connecting voices, where Nepal meets the world in dialogue. This is NTV World, Nepal's perspective to the world.
Voices that connect Nepal to the world, bringing perspective, region and relevance to every story. NTV World, Nepal's perspective to the world.
Stand by. Mic is on.
3, 2, 1, cue.
We are NTV World.
आँखामा हेर यो माहो तिम्रो शक्ति मेरो आत्मा. The golden light that starts to glow, the quiet peace that helps you grow. This power comes from deep inside, a rising never-ending tide. This is me, this is my soul. Ma, make my spirit whole.
Not only the female perspective as a man, हामी आफैले चाहिँ आफ्नो त्यो एउटा चाहिँ त्यो एउटा चाहिँ म भन्ने शक्ति एउटा चाहिँ हामीले आफैले बुझेर त्यो मनन गरेर चाहिँ काम गर्नुपर्छ जस्तो लाग्छ.
Her works more says about the inner emotions and psychological world of the woman through a lot of imagery and a symbol like a third eye.
Pain has to support art, otherwise art is not seen and known by others.
It feels like women are the universe and they are the ones who creates, and without them this universe is empty.
Look inside ourselves, and look inside our own id to see
what we are and how we navigate in the world.
नयाँ प्यालेट पनि आएको छ उहाँको very light biscuit color जस्तैमा with very minimalistic lines.
Ma has always been so close. Like this exhibition is also like a reflection for me.
मनको दियोलाई चाहिँ बालिराख्नुपर्छ.
Darbar Marg. It is the pulse of our city, loud, fast, and constantly moving. But just a few steps away, behind these doors at 108 Art Gallery, the world changes. The noise of the street fades into a profound golden silence. For over 3 decades, Irina Tamrakar has been a defining voice in Nepali contemporary art. Known globally for her Third Eye series, she now pivots inward. Welcome to Creative Forum. Today we explore Ma, myself, that me within us.
यो सोलो आउनुभन्दा पहिला म निकै वर्ष चाहिँ धेरै वर्ष थर्ड आई सिरिजमा काम गरेको थिएँ. थर्ड आईमा चाहिँ कलरहरू पनि डिफ्रेन्ट थियो, अलिकति पावरमा वुमेन्स पावर भनेर हामी महिलाहरूको पावर, यङ केटीहरूको पावर, त्यो हिसाबले चाहिँ मैले धेरैवटा पावरको हिसाबले चाहिँ शक्ति चाहियो क्या हामी महिलालाई हैन. त्यही हिसाबले शक्तिको आधारमा मैले रातो कलरहरू चाहिँ हामी नेपाली कल्चर हिसाबले पनि शक्ति नै हो, टिकाहरू लाउँछौँ. त्यो कन्सेप्टमा धेरै वर्ष काम गरिसकेपछि तेस्रो नेत्र हामी महिलालाई चाहिन्छ क्या हैन. हामी एवेर हुनुपर्छ, समाजमा हामी फाइट गर्नुपर्छ, समाजमा हामी आफ्नो हिसाबले अघि बढ्न सक्नुपर्छ भन्ने कन्सेप्टले म अघि बढेको थिएँ. मैले त्यो कन्सेप्टमा पेन्टिङ गरेँ. अनि अहिले आएर चाहिँ थर्ड आई भित्र पनि मलाई अब अझ खोजी गर्न मन लाग्यो हैन. म भनेर चाहिँ फिल आइसकेपछि मैले म किन नराख्ने अब यसमा थर्ड आईको बिचमा भनेर. अनि देवनागरीलाई मलाई चाहिँ होइन कि अलिकति रचना लिपि, नेपाल प्रचलित लिपि, त्यसलाई चाहिँ मको रूपमा त्यति फरक त छैन, तर अलिअलि फरकको हिसाबले चाहिँ म राखेको हो.
Well, I'm very impressed. That way I'm quite familiar with the art of Edina. She's been long familiar to me as an artist. Now, since she was struggling to establish herself, I knew her. Now, she's well established now. I feel very proud on her progress. In modern version of art, what is needed to explore, continuing to explore more and more. It must speak your mind. So that's what she's been doing for a long time. Whereas others do choose different motives and different kinds of things for their expression, visual expression, smooth your impulses. But unlike others, Edina has chosen only one particular theme, one motive for a long time. That is a woman face. Maybe she's trying to see herself in a mirror. And this is very unique. Let me tell you very frankly, this is very unique. Now I thought, how could one explore on one particular motive for a long, long time? But she did well. So What we need in art is to continually express, to explore, then and get the diversity out of it. But she did it, and she's genuinely artist.
I feel like when I see the works, I feel like her works more says about the inner emotions and psychological world of the woman through a lot of imagery and a symbol like a third eye, and also through more about her very personal visual language. So I do see these things, and it's more about woman's resilience that I see in her works.
This transition isn't just thematic, it's a shift in energy.
If you dive deeply on her works, you'll notice the dots and the aesthetic parts of her work and the colors she plays with, along with the motifs of women. They all are very attractive. At the same time, she gives the message that women are powerful, women have the courage, women have the strength to do whatever they need to do. And moreover, she focuses on the feminine aspect as a universe. Like if you focus on a painting, there are so many dots, right? So those each, if you stand still and look at her work for some time, you will feel those dots are the universe. And the female she paints on the canvas, it feels like women are the universe and they are the ones who creates, and without them this universe is empty.
हेर्दाखेरि लुक्स बबल तर त्यो लाइट हो के हामीले लाइटलाई परको लाइटलाई हेर्यो भने अलि ब्लड हुन्छ नि धमिलो किसिमले शार्प देखिन्न त्यो लाइटको सिम्बल चाहिँ त्यही हो अनि किन यसरी भयो भन्दाखेरि मलाई देखाउनु छ कि हामी कोही पनि सबैजनाले चाहिँ मनको दियोलाई चाहिँ बालिराख्नुपर्छ हैन मनमा नदेखिने बत्ती त देखिन्न मनको बत्ती त्यसमा धागो पनि देखिन्न तेल पनि देखिन्न त्यसैले हामीले चाहिँ के गर्नुपर्छ भन्दा मनको दियो बालिराख्नलाई हामीले तेल थपिरहनु पर्यो धागो चाहिँ थपिरहनु पर्यो सारिरहनु पर्यो भन्ने कन्सेप्टले चाहिँ अब त्यो चिजलाई कसरी देखाउने हैन त्यो कन्सेप्टले चाहिँ मैले अनि त्यो बत्तीलाई सिम्बोलिक गरेर त्यो बत्ती भनेको मनको बत्ती हो है आँखा चिम्लिरहेछ नि हैन खोलि पनि रहेछ त्यो मनको बत्ती चाहिँ यसरी बत्ती भनेर देखाउन खोजेको मेरो कन्सेप्टमा चाहिँ अब हरेक किसिमबाट त्यो तल माथि तल हैन उठेको जस्तो बबल्स कलरफुल बबल्स जस्तो त्यो चाहिँ त्यसरी देखाउन खोजे अब ठ्याक्कै देखायो भने फेरि पेन्टिङमा टेक्निकली नमिल्न सक्छ नि त कसरी उज्यालो बनाउने भन्ने कुरा हुन्छ यो चाहिँ अलिकति फ्यान्टेसीसँग पनि कनेक्टेड गरिकन
One painting that really struck me was a painting of Mother Earth, where Erina ji has portrayed Mother Earth in a form of a Nepali lady with the elements of earth, like fish, animals, forest, but we cannot see the actual eyes or the features of human feature, but it still gives the vibe of the earthy feeling that that the painting is trying to show. So that is, I think, very interesting of Erina ji to actually give to actually portray Mother Earth in form of her own style.
एरिनाको सिलुएट्स इन टाइम भन्ने एक्जिबिसन भएको थियो सिद्धार्थ आर्ट ग्यालरीमा इट वाज अ भेरी सक्सेसफुल सो दिस फेस द्याट यु सी इन दिस एक्जिबिसन त्यो चाहिँ नि त्यति समयको बेला चाहिँ नि फर्स्ट टाइम इमर्ज गरेको हो र द युज अफ गोल्ड टु डिस्प्ले द रिचनेस अफ आवर हेरिटेज त्यो प्यालेट पनि त्यति बेला नि आएको हो र त्यसपछिको एक्जिबिसनले मलाई लाग्छ एरिना कोरिया जान पनि सेलेक्ट भएको थियो अहिले चाहिँ नि नयाँ प्यालेट पनि आएको छ उहाँको भेरी लाइट बिस्किट कलर जस्तैमा विथ भेरी मिनिमलिस्टिक लाइन्स कुनै चाहिँ नि तपाईँले यहाँ देख्नुहुन्छ इन अ भेरी लिनियर त्यो चाहिँ नि मेरो लागि चाहिँ नि एउटा नयाँ डेभलपमेन्ट हो एन्ड आई होप एरिना कन्टिन्युज विथ दिस एब्स्ट्र्याक्ट लिनियर प्रोसेस जुन अहिले हामीले देखिरहेछौँ काममा त्यसको चाहिँ नि लार्जर स्केलमा पनि हुनसक्छ आई लुक फरवर्ड टु सिइङ दोज वर्क्स टु
I think most of the thing that I praise about the exhibition here is not only this exhibition, but Erna Didi's the way she plays with the color is fabulous, and the way she brings out that inner emotions of the female, that is also tremendous. So these are the things I really get inspired by her works, and also not only about the work, but as an artist, the dedication, the sincerity, the passion, and the humility I really admired of her.
So more, it's a ego, right, or aid. So I think when the way we navigate the world is by measuring with our own body, with our own sense of self, right? So that sense of self, that identity is ma, right? So that's how we express I in English or ma in Nepali. But when an individual say ma, that might be in relationship to what is happening at the immediate moment. But when an artist is talking, for example, Erina's work, I think she's talking more than just the sense of herself. She might be speaking to the nature of womanhood and the women's roles in the society. So it's when I look at this work, I think I see it as a collective more, as a 50% of the population in the society, not just Erina.
This is me, this is my soul, Ma, make my spirit whole.
अहिलेको रिसेन्ट यो जुन म सिरिजमा चाहिँ नि मलाई लाग्छ इट्स अबाउट हर एउटा एक्सप्रेसन हो होइन एउटा फिमेल फर्म छ सो फिमेल क्यारेक्टर त्यसमा पनि मोर लाइक मोर फोकस अन द फेसेस होइन फिमेल फेसेसहरू छ अनि त्यसमा पनि अलिकति एउटा एग्रेसिभ फिलिङ्सहरू छ यसपालि चाहिँ नि सो एग्रेसिभ इन अ सेन्स लाइक अहिलेको जुन अहिले समाजमा जुन घटिरहेको घटनाहरू छ त्यसैलाई अलिकति बेस लिएर चाहिँ नि एरिनाले काम गरेको छ यसपालि चाहिँ नि सो स्पेसली अब भन्नुपर्दा म सिरिज इज बेस्ड अन हर ओन एक्सप्रेसन ओन लाइक आइडेन्टिटी होइन त्यसमा बेस भएर काम गरिरहेछ सो सियास एक्सप्लोर कलरमा पनि अलिकति डार्कनेस अफ कलर चाहिँ युज गर्नुभएको छ यो म सिरिजमा सो प्रायः चाहिँ नि कलर्सहरू चाहिँ नि ग्रे ब्ल्याक त्यसमा पनि फेरि गोल्डन कलर चाहिँ मिक्स गर्नुभएको छ द्याट्स अ भेरी स्ट्रङ कलर्स चाहिँ मलाई लाग्छ
As everybody knows, running a gallery is a very complex and financially challenging thing to do. But still, like my history, my family history, we've always been into art. For like now, regarding my own business, it's been running for more than 40 to 50 years and still running. So this is a small diversification from being an art shop and then to an art gallery. So it's two different streams, but the objective is still one: promoting Nepalese art. It's still a challenge that to get proper quality buyers, especially in the Nepalese market. And it's a very niche market in Nepal. We've got very handful of people who actually are investing in art. So yeah, that's one of the major problems, because that's a problem for the lack of buyers that we have in Nepal. Giving artists the space that they require to show their artwork. And it's not just one specific artwork that we are promoting. So here in 108, we give a platform to all the different art and artists. So this is a major step that we as a gallery are taking, and we are also trying to promote artist merchandise, where the buyer can actually have the essence of the original artwork, but in a cheaper form, whether it be prints. Like we've tried a couple of things like making puzzles out of the original artwork, where we pay good royalty to the artist, and then gallery, we've got our certain commission, and then the buyer also gets a genuine piece in return.
The only thing that will help to sustain one in this creative field of the creative world is continuation. You have to do continuously. You shouldn't be stopping, right? To take rest is okay, but completely shut down is not okay. So that's the key point: continuation, the passion for it, and no matter what there is, we all are struggling in our own ways. And if you are a woman, then you have to struggle twice, right? So continuation is the key for sustaining in this creative scenario. Yeah.
Any creative field is very demanding, and a lot of time the investment in return is not immediate. So that's something I think both the parents and students or a young generation would have to think about. And they have to have a plan to support their creative practice until the creative practice can support them. And then look for opportunities not just in Nepal and also outside. Build network, be professional. When they commit to something, they should commit to that and show up, right? So I think the being professional and understanding and having a plan, not just one plan, but the plan one, plan A, plan B, plan C, would be helpful for them. But I think there are a lot more opportunity nowadays, and I wouldn't necessarily be pessimistic about it. But they have to be clear about what their goals are.
But this me is also a response to the external world.
Your contemporary समकालीन work is like this, हैन? किनभने हामीले एउटा बनाउँछौँ, तपाईले अर्कै फिल गर्नुहुन्छ, अर्को व्यक्तिले अर्कै गर्नुहुन्छ। जसले हेर्नुहुन्छ उहाँहरूले आफ्नै किसिमले मनन गर्न पाउनु यो नै विशेष हो, स्पेसियालिटी भन्छ नि। हामी सबैले आफूलाई राम्रोसँग आफूभित्र मभित्रको मलाई एकचोटि मनन गरिकन राम्रोसित आफूलाई चिन्नु भयो भने, चिन्न पायो भने मेरै पेन्टिङको मेरै मबाट तपाईले पनि आफूलाई खोज्न देख्नु भयो भने मेरो त्यसमा चाहिँ तपाईले सोच्नु भयो भने मैले बनाएको मसँग कनेक्ट हुनुभयो जस्तो मलाई लाग्छ, कनेक्ट हुनुहुन्छ कि जस्तो नि मलाई लाग्छ, र आफूलाई राम्रोसँग सजिलो किसिमबाट अघि बढ्न सक्छ जिन्दगीमा भन्ने जस्तो लाग्छ। त्यही खोज्नुस् भन्न चाहन्छु।
This was Irina Tamrakar's More Myself. We hope you were near to finding that more in you from today's episode of Creative Forum.
The golden light that starts to glow, the quiet peace that helps you grow. This power comes from deep inside, a rising, never-ending tide. This is me, this is my soul. Ma, make my spirit whole.
A farmer in Nepal spends months growing maize. Just days before harvest, a troop of monkeys arrive. Within an hour, the crop is gone. It sounds like a local problem, but it isn't. Farmers in India lose crops to elephants, Australians battle kangaroos, Americans struggle with bears, and Europeans are debating wolves. Around the world, wildlife is returning, but so is conflict. So the question is, can humans and wildlife still coexist? To help us understand why these conflicts are increasing, what Nepal's recent monkey management report recommends, and what lessons the world can learn about coexistence, on Insight today we are joined by Mr. Hom Chetri, who is the chair of Nepal's Monkey Management Task Force and also a human-wildlife conflict expert. So welcome to NTV World Insight.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
You've chaired the Monkey Management Task Force, and just recently your team has submitted an interim report to the Nepal government. Yeah. Before we dive into the basics of human-wildlife conflict, what preliminary findings did you come up with?
Well, first of all, as I said, the preliminary findings we have divided into, I would say, two segments. One is what are we going to do into the practical field, like real intervention at the field level. And then we have divided into the program side of it, because these, unless these are synchronized very well, probably it won't lead to what we are expecting. So getting back to what we have recommended for this field intervention, the biggest ask or biggest recommendation is for sterilization, because I think that is the biggest part in terms of the capital. It is capital intensive as well. It is labor intensive as well. Although it has a lot of challenges, given that our country is yet to catch up with the speed or the kind of logistics help it needs to go for that kind of operation like sterilization of monkeys. Probably we do have a certain system in place for things like dogs and cats probably, but not yet for the monkeys. So because it's a special thing. So anyway, so that is one thing we are asking, sterilization. The second thing is we are recommending strongly to look into the compensation mechanism, because there is already a compensation mechanism. Suppose if anyone's farmland is raided by monkeys or any other animals like porcupines or wild boars or any other animals, so farmers can claim, I think, maximum up to 10,000 at a time. But that one goes through some cumbersome process, and at the end, some of the farmers, they just give up because of the the intensive process involved, and one has to travel all the way to go and claim it, and sometimes they end up paying more than what they will eventually get as their claim. Mm-hmm. So anyway, these are the very complicated process. So we have reviewed it thoroughly, and we have come up with the recommendation to make it more efficient, more pro-farmers, more compensation which is more realistic, like how much is the loss, and that should be evaluated accordingly. And also they should be in a position to get the money paid at the spot itself, than going all the way, the traveling, the logistic is another problem. So that also needs to have a kind of overhauling of the whole process. That is one of the things. And then we are also coming up with a kind of recommendation to look into the Heralo system. Probably you are aware this is a very traditional way that has been going on since a long time. This is a community-based watch group. They form a group and then they are called Heralo. But the system that we are recommending, it is a bit of improvised system. We are even recommending that there should be a proper training before they get onto the field. Like they should have proper instrument, proper equipment to protect themselves, like helmet, the proper gear, whistle. They should have proper way to communicate, maybe a stick for their own safeguard, and so on and so forth. And eventually they should go through different training, like how to maintain their logbook, how to communicate, and so on and so forth. And the basic feature that we want to see it change is, like in the traditional way, they won't really care about where the monkey is coming from or what is their route they have been following it up. They will just randomly chase it away. It doesn't matter where they end up. Like they might go to their neighboring plot. So, but in the system that we are talking about, it should be coordinated in a way so that their exit is not to someone's land, someone's farmland, but it has to go to a proper place where they can, stay without harming other farmland. Mm-hmm. So these are the components that we want to see added up.
Why do you think the government thought it necessary to carry out this study? From this, what we want to understand is the gravity of the situation. How serious is monkey menace in Nepal?
Right. The government, this situation was there, and there was a lot of talk on ritual basis every year in parliament, in what do we call Chiabati, from Chiabati with tea shops to whatnot, right? And it was raised at a very alarming scale, but it was happening, and it will go through a certain seasonal time, and then it will just vanish, and then again it used to come up every year, and then again and again and again, but it will never reach up to the table of policymakers who should take it seriously and do some action. And that probably never happened. And this time, I think they realized the gravity of the situations. This time, probably the visibility was much more, and the impact was really seen. Maybe because of the media, maybe because of the quick accessibility of the situations, or maybe I think it's more access to the visibility, and that is how they could realize.
Mm-hmm. If you could provide some numbers of how big of an impact this has caused to perhaps livelihoods or people.
Well, we did one survey in Argakhachi, the district called Argakhachi, and it was done through a very competitive professional team, and the result that came up was very surprising. For example, one of the most striking finding was in the districts, out of six palikas, 3 palikas were under the review, and they found that 78% of the total populations, they are in a process to abandon the farming. Either they have abandoned, or they are in a process to abandon, or they will just go for maybe one more season and they will abandon the entire farming. Imagine 78% of the farm populations, they are ready to abandon it, leave it. So what is left in the rural side, which is totally based on the farming? So that is one of the very alarming situation. Again, you can imagine the situations. Those who have certain alternative way, probably they will go there. But those who don't have any fallback place to land on and go for any other options, they will get into this spiral of vicious circle of debt, and then again problem, right? So that was most alarming situations.
Do you think the findings from Arghakhachi represents rest of the other districts in Nepal?
More or less, more or less.
Or are there other impacts different than Arghakhachi?
More or less. Arghakhachi can be taken as a kind of representative districts of the Middle Hills, because the impact is more in that regions, like about 50 to 60 districts out of, so those are heavily impacted. So I think Arghakhachi case can be taken as a better example. There are, of course, many other districts even in the east, like we keep on listening about Diktal, Sankwa Sabha, and even in the Mid Hills, we keep on listening about how serious it is in Parvat, Gulmi, the Putan. I would say probably Arghakhachi is a little less than some of the districts who are facing severe impact because of this crop-raiding animals.
And what would you say is the severe impact that they are witnessing?
I would say, first of all, one data says whatever forage or whatever feeding that monkey need, they 45, at least 45% of the food they need for their survival, they get it from farmland. And the rest, 55, they get it from their own natural habitat, right? So that itself, you can imagine how much is the share they're taking from the farmland, and how much encroachment, how much invading they have been doing it on kind of daily basis. People have been spending day and night actually, and on top of monkeys, there's another animal which is called wild boar. We call it bandel. Bandel is even more dangerous because in the daytime you take care of monkeys, and in the nighttime you have to take care of wild boar. And that wild boar is even dangerous because that can even harmful, that can even attack you. And so that is one of the situations how dangerous it is in terms of the crop loss and in terms of your safety. So it is very, very dangerous. And there are different figures floating in reports like 5 billion losses, and some of the households in the range of 40 to 50,000 per year. Those are very sporadic kind of anecdotal reports coming up here and there, but there hasn't been a comprehensive report done at the national level to determine what is the total loss and which are the main hot spots, etc. But that is also in the pipeline, and that is also one of the suggestions we are making, that we should go for a national level, very credible, very reliable data, because at the moment we are just making some kind of guess. Recently, there has been one study done by NTNC, National Trust for Nature Conservations, and they have really come up with one basic figure on what could be the populations, and according to them, it's like 100,000, 104,000, closer to that. So, but we need to know how credible it is, but at least that is the basis we have. So my point is, we still lack a credible database. And without database, without that kind of information, it's very, very difficult to make any decisions for any planner, right? Like even if you talk about sterilization or compensation or any kind of interventions, right? We don't know where they exist and what is their age group, what is their way of coming, I mean the route they normally follow, etc. So it's been a bit of dilemma for the planners to pinpoint where the problem is and how to hit it. So that's also in this in our recommendations to make sure that government comes up and builds a very solid way to form a credible data.
Let's break down the compensation issue here. You mentioned that many of the farmers are not aware that there is a compensation mechanism in place. The process can be cumbersome for some, which discourages them to access the compensation itself. But what does the compensation package look like, and how can farmers access it?
Well, the compensation form is designed in a way, it is a kind of lump sum amount, and there are different parameters, like for example, in a process to chase away and the animals which is raiding your farmland, and in the process, suppose someone got killed, right? So that has a different level of compensation, probably certain like it happened in the case of elephant, recently in what you call Chitwan, wherein Dhurba elephant came and injured, and one of them died. So that has, I think, my gauge is like 10 lakh rupees, but instead then it goes, the breakdown is there, like someone injured and then something is lost, and something happened, and then that has another compensation package. But in general, suppose certain crop is destroyed, maximum is 10,000 rupees, and only one time in the whole year. So that is the main package they have. But as I said, it has certain challenges to claim and get it. Suppose if you are nearby, let's say in Bardia, and if you are adjacent to the Bardia, any authorities who are responsible to claim, that's fine. But imagine someone is living far away and they have to travel all the way from Arakachi or Gulmi or Putan, coming all the way Bardia, and then who knows, the household may not have young persons to travel and take care of the filling of the form, etc., etc. So there's a bit of a cumbersome process which people they prefer rather to give it up than actually make a struggle.
How many points are there in place where farmers can go and apply for the compensation package? Is it not accessible through all the local levels?
No. It is coordinated by district, what they call it, forest division. But the ultimate disbursement point is given to the different, I think, what you call forest divisions. So it is not entirely up to the district level. So that's where the problem lies. But our recommendation is that should be eliminated, that should be improved. People should get at the ward level, at the household level, and they should be able to even see it and track their progress, like where their claim is, and has it met any kind of obstacles, or what is that? Do they need to submit any papers, or and then someone can come and say, hey, you lack this kind of paper, why don't you submit? We want to see that thing is happening. So and these days, actually, if a portal, like we see in Amazons or anything, like when your cargo moves, then you can see where has it come, has it made any kind of obstacle, something like that. So it shouldn't be that complicated, and our team has actually gone through it, and they have actually come up with some kind of sample, and it is doable, it is workable. So we are working on it, and at least we are suggesting to the government that this is the way it should be.
Do we have crop insurance options available for it?
Well, actually, no. That should have been very ideal, and we started talking about why it is not in place. But I think because then it's a commercial venture versus the problem this side. So I think most of the insurance companies probably they don't see much of the profit backs, which they can take it as their portion of some benefit. So I think there is a bit of caveat, and again, this is one of the best way, as you suggested, and this is also one of the recommendations. And if the government wants, and they can actually pull up all those resources, mainly the insurance thing, and they can make them work on it. Why not, right? Even the government can come in and announce some kind of flexibility. Maybe certain portions the government can chip in, and certain portions the communities, those vulnerable communities, they can also come forward. Maybe the ward or the province they're attached to, also they can come forward as a part of compensation mechanism to be part of it. So it is doable, but again, that needs a lot of coordination, and that is where we're also suggesting that when this task force exit, right, we have a very limited time and before this tenure goes off, there should be very competent institutions taking over entire initiative. Otherwise, what will happen? The momentum, the traction that we have developed through whole process of coming up with the policy, that might die down very quickly, and ultimately the report can just rest in somewhere. So that's we don't want to do it. And so, if any institutions, competent institutions, they come forward and take it up, and this insurance things plus other things, it can be taken up seriously. It shouldn't be a big deal, actually. I mean, at least that is how the team sees it.
Now, is the number of monkeys the main problem, or are we not being able to manage it? As you earlier mentioned, that this has been something that has stayed for many, many years. Are we not seeking for alternatives to managing the numbers?
Number may not be an issue. As I said, just 100,000 or little more than 100,000. So number is not an issue, but the coordinations, as I said earlier, there are different mechanisms in place, the government, the communities, the different institutions, and even the government itself at the district level, at the Palika level. If all these forces are put together, and if there is a clear demarcation of who should do what and how they should channelize the whole resources which is needed to take care of this monkey problem or any other problem, then the number is not a problem. So whole issue is the coordination and how good we are at coordinating the different sources. As I said, there are Heralo system, the watch community watch group, and there are other groups. And if the government wants, if they even forget about even in some cases, some of the districts, there is another group which is called Community Forest Users Group, which is very highly organized groups all over the country. There are 23,000 community forest users groups. So imagine the strength of it. So all those, and plus youth, all those can be mobilized in a proper way, in a professional way. This is what we are talking about. And if these are all pulled together and put together, number is not a problem. It can be done. When we started actually this work, and we kept on hearing this, hey, why you worry about so much? Just export it to some countries like China. And we thought, yeah, probably why not? So, and then as we got into the process, and then we realized this is absolutely impossible. And the reason I tell you, there are two major reasons why it is impossible. One is country like China, why they would take our garbage. It is a garbage for them, right? And because they would need only for two reasons. One is for their pharmaceutical business, and probably the second reason is, although very cruel, probably for the delicacy purpose, they want to eat it. But the problem is they cannot take our monkeys straight to their pharmaceuticals department, let's say, because our monkeys are wild monkeys. They're full of disease, full of zoonotic disease, and obviously they cannot deal with that wild monkeys, whereas they want to experiment the vaccinations, the medicines, and they want a very pure, very healthy one. And even to get a healthy one, that means it has to be in a proper farm, which has gone through strict protocol of quarantine, healthy process, etc., which is again a lot of logistic things to encounter, right? And then only they will take not only the first generation of farm monkeys, probably they will prefer the second or third generation, just to make sure they are very clean and they are very, very good candidates to apply their vaccines and see how it works. So in our case, it's not possible. So that is the main reason we cannot think of exporting.
For that, I think there's also an ethical concern attached to it.
Yeah, sure. I mean, like ethically is like if they are going to take it as for delicacy. Again, that's a cruelty, and obviously there comes ethical. Even for vaccination, we don't know, but at least we know that it has gone for a good purpose. But I don't know how they will deal with it. But at least there is a reason. But having said that, that's also where the private companies can link up. Meaning, like for China, let's say China's demand for live monkeys is very high, right? They need about 70 to 100,000 monkeys a year for their pharmaceutical business, because it's $1 trillion business actually, right? Even in China and the way they are expanding their businesses, right? And their domestic production ranges from 50 to 60,000. So there is a gap of 30 to 40,000 monkeys a year. So if there is a proper understanding, proper setup in our context, we can export it. Obviously, this exporting is not going to solve our current problem, which the monkeys are raiding our crops. This is not going to solve, but at least there is an avenue, which is a commercial avenue, which can be explored, right? Well, there are other challenges too, like animal rights groups and all this. They have to negotiate, but there is a commercial opportunities, commercial window of opportunity they can explore, and where the private sector can come in and grab that opportunity. But
do you think climate change has aggravated the situation at all?
Well, climate change is the big factor because of the land composition, the way it has changed, right? Because of the climate change. And also then there are so many other factors, the social factors, economic factors, that has all come together, but mainly the climate. Because in our case, what has happened, the gap between farmland and the forest, it used to be a bit wider, and there used to be buffer crops, buffers, regions, which used to protect each other's, right? But now, because of so much of changes in the climate, in the composition of the whole forest, right? The forest is getting closer and closer and closer. So together with the forest, it comes all host of issues like animals, like monkeys. Now the monkeys, they are so much closer to our houses, the rural houses, and even they come inside, they take away the food together with the pots, they cook the food, right? So it has gone to that level. And of course there are other issues, like there is massive out-migrations, and the rural farms, they are left with the very old and probably the sick peoples, and they cannot really chase away. And the monkeys are so adaptive, so smart, so aggressive. They even don't care about the girl child. They don't care about the women, and even the old people. But the main route is, as you said, the climate region. So that we can see a clear link starts there.
And how do you see this scenario unfolding in the coming years, perhaps?
I mean, at least in our context, we see that the government this time has taken it very seriously. The RSP government, in particular, when they came up, with their strength, out of their 100 commitments to do, let's say, in 100 days or further, number 87 in the manifesto is totally dedicated for this region. It's totally to take care of the human-wildlife conflict mitigation measure. So you see the level of seriousness, level of commitment they have put in. And now I see that they have gone ahead and they have formed a high-level task force, and the task force is composed of all the representatives from the stakeholders, from the ministries, and also representative from Prime Minister's office, and they have been doing all the technical oversight. So you see the seriousness attached to this problem compared to what it used to be when the earlier, people will talk about it, they used to have some kind of response there, but I would say it was more kind of a ritual, and it wasn't taken up seriously. But now I'm confident that they will go further and they will not drop this issue, and that is why one of the recommendations we are putting up is there has to be, before the task force exit, there has to be one institution who will hold it properly, take it up further, and the momentum that has gone, come up so nicely, it should really remain alive and produce something tangible. I'm sure, this is not a suddenly developed issue. It has been going on for so many decades actually, and now it has come to this stage, and we are serious about it. I'm sure it will take a while, and if I may add on to it, like the risk side is we are slowly losing the chances to protect the maize crop, because the maize crop is the most vulnerable crop in our agricultural cycle, and that is more attractive to the monkeys, and they have been invading it, and I don't think we can really catch it up and do something, but we are trying. Let's see, and then if we do it, if we come up with something, and even if we can save even a small percentage of it, that will be very helpful. At least we want to instill a confidence to the farmers that there is a government and someone, and their voice is heard, and someone is working on it. At least we want to inject that kind of confidence at the rural level, because their question is very simple. Look, I did so much of things. I paid so much expensive fertilizer. I bought seeds, and I did so much of things. And now, after so much of painful, process, my crop is lost, and no one is hearing. No one. Where is the government?
Surely, monkey menace is not a unique problem to Nepal. There are other countries or regions facing similar problems. What kind of global good practices have you observed that maybe we could adapt into our system also?
We reviewed the situations, how it's being handled. Even in India, very neighboring countries, they are facing a huge problem. And they have gone from declaring the whole situation from pest animals to vermin, meaning pest animals, as I said, we have the same situations in Nepal, where, as I mentioned, the process is, right? But they have gone ahead because their situation was really, really getting serious. They declared it vermin, and they did the culling, meaning they kill some of the animals, most of it. And then, of course, there is often a debate like the culling is not the solution, etc., etc. But that is one part of review that we did, and we also want to take into considerations, right? That is one way. The another one, like other countries like Japan, Japan with their advanced level of technology, etc., and they have done it very well. And not surprisingly, they have established a quota, like 20 to 25,000 monkeys should be eliminated, let's say. So that's established by default. Every year they want to do it because it's a scientific way of managing the population. Probably out of their parameters, whatever they decided, and they came up with the figure that this figure, if it is eliminated every year, and the carrying capacity or the particular locations or particular places where they find it vulnerable to the monkeys, probably that particular solutions, if 25,000 monkeys are removed, they won't face that situation. Similarly, not exactly the monkeys. Let's talk about kangaroo or wallaby in Australia. Kangaroo is an icon animals in Australia, but what they do, the moment it goes above the threshold, which is likely to be harmful for the safety and for the crop, for the farmers, it's already decided. they even deploy the national resources, which means even army or even the, with armed personnel to eliminate those. They do the culling because just to maintain that the level of the number of population they want to keep it is no more harmful. Of course, they want to maintain ecological balance, and that is also our purpose. And we very much we call it a very popular terminology, and we want to abide by, is called coexistence, right? It is not we are not an anti-animals, we are not an anti-farmers, but then we want to promote coexistence so that you live and we live, right? We are not anti to anyone, but the coexistence. But coexistence doesn't mean that the farmers, they go on bearing the disproportionate loss which is happening, right? Because they are not also lobbying or advocating for totally eliminating that kind of problem. They also know that the ecological balance is important, conservation is important, but at the same time, look at the grievances, look at the pain they are going through. So we say coexistence, but not at the cost of other, right? So this is what we are also highly focusing on our report. The coexistence should be way, and the culling is one of the tools, but that tools is the last resort. If A, B, C, D, all the non-lethal way that we are recommending to apply, which have been in the practice, which are not harmful, very human way to deal with the monkeys and other animals, and if those are in practice and eventually that doesn't lead to any kind of the result that we expect, probably that could be the end. That could be the end way to go for that. But again, we are calling it, there should be a scientific way to deal with it, right? That's not the way we're recommending, but it should be under the scientific way of population management.
Lastly, before we conclude this conversation, you mentioned something about Japan, but overall, how can the government and authorities incorporate technology, for instance, artificial intelligence or GPS tracking, smartphone alerts into monkey management?
Surprisingly, in our process, in our engagement as a task force, we invited all the stakeholders, and we were very, very taken by surprise the way the private sector has come up with the innovative ideas. They came and demonstrated, look, this is the AI-based technology, and we can develop it for you, we can customize it for you, they can put in different sounds, different way to scare away the different type of animals, including elephants, and the drone can come as in a rescue mission to chase away, to rescue, to spread all sort of baits, etc., etc. It's very amazing. The technology is there, and it's ready. And anyone, like in our capacity, our people here, they are ready to develop it. And apart from that, the China, even they got into in our contract, and they said we can develop. You just tell us how much and how many numbers you want for your coverage all over the country, and etc. So these are the good thing, that these technologies are there, active, working, and we can easily get access to those, right? And as far as the technology which other countries are doing, like Australia or Japan, I think there is a way that we can really access to their expertise, and we can even reach out to them and find out how their system has been working. And not only them sharing their expertise, we also have our expertise. I was quite happy to see that the process of sterilization, we have number of experts in our country. Some of the experts, they went to Thailand to do the sterilization because he has that kind of expertise, and so does the the expertise like we have in the case of conservation areas like tiger management and so on. Like we have experts, and they go to India side, and they sometimes and complement with their technical skills. So we have a lot of resources to pull in. As I said, all it needs is the proper coordination, and we can do it.
Hopefully that will happen very soon. Thank you so much for your time and your insight.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for giving me time to express what we have been up to so far. Thank you.
And thank you as well for staying with us on the show. Until next time.
"35 of us are in this bus that is transporting us to the aircraft from the waiting lounge of the Trivandrum International Airport's domestic terminal. All, of course, look busy, up to something. The bus starts to move, and within minutes we reach the aircraft at the taxi bay. We start boarding the aircraft one by one, to the warm welcome of the air hostess. The aircraft looks fully boarded for the flight to Chandragarhi Airport of Jhapa. However, our final destination is the famous Pathivara temple in Taplejung district. After nearly an hour's flight, we land at Chandragarhi Airport, trying to breathe fresh air and adjust ourselves. Our camera crew takes the opportunity to capture some unique local artifacts seen at the airport. As we wait for our vehicle outside, we have time to see the local lifestyle. Soon our vehicle arrives and we set for our main destination, Pathivara of Taplejung. Within 15 minutes, we reach Charali, a major junction with Kakarvita towards the east, Ilam towards the north. We're trying to engage in the sights and sounds of the Tarai. We head north towards Ilam, a natural paradise known for its agro-producers. The sheer pleasure of traveling in this natural paradise, crossing through settlements and jungles along the hilly road, reaches its climax when we arrive at the famous tea garden of Kanyam. No wonder Kanyam, our tourist hub with a perfect blend of natural beauty and economic activities, attracts us like a magnet. But our destination is still far away. We have to reach Taplejung at any cost today. After another 1.5 hours, we arrive at district headquarters of Ilam. It's a weekend day, Saturday, and the main market area is quiet. The very short time we spent enjoying the beauty of Ilam Bazaar was not enough, but we had to move on. It was almost dusk when we reached the highest point along the Mechi Highway, Rake Bazaar, along the border of Ilam and Pastor districts. A beautiful small hamlet known for its local producers. Rake is pretty windy, maybe because of its height, and we all feel a bit cold. However, this does not stop us from enjoying the local specialities. Our team moves on knowing that if we do not reach Taplejung today itself, our entire itinerary will suffer. It's dark now, and we are still on the roads, still at some distance. We cross the Fidim Bazaar, district headquarters of Pastor, but cannot see it properly as it was already dark. However, how can one forget the beautiful Fidim Bazaar and its red soil? Our caravan moves on irrespective of the time, and we are determined to reach Taplejung today at any cost. It was 11 p.m. when we reached Phungling Bazaar, the district headquarters of Taplejung. Early in the morning, the next day, once again we start our journey to the revered shrine. We were aware that a regional fair was taking place in Taplejung. The bazaar area has been decorated like a bride. There seems to be a competition among the locals in every nooks and corners of the city to decorate their place as the best. A large fair is going on at the open field with numerous cultural pageantries. The whole area is scenic and lively. However, we left Phungling Bazaar early with a promise to enjoy the place when we return from Pathivara. After nearly an hour's ride along the gravelled road, we arrived at Kafle Pati. This is the last destination till which we can have a ride. Now all on foot till we reach Pathivara. We are exploring Kafle Pati and the beautiful hill of Manavara behind Pathivara in the early morning sunlight. That hill is called Manavara, meaning a filled mano or an ancient device to weigh grains for its sheer resemblance. It looks a difficult place to reach. Thankfully, we have no intention of going there either. A few travelers apart from our team are also with us. The uphill climb for about 5 hours is waiting for us now. Long winding steps of rock lead us to the temple. The uphill walk of the stairs takes more than half an hour to reach Baldana. It's a small hamlet and resting place for travelers. We meet a group of youths who are returning from the temple. These jolly youths with guitar seem to have enjoyed a very musical trip to the temple. You also enjoy their music for some time. One of the many ways to forget our fatigue. After the brief musical break, our journey moves on. We haven't seen snow till now, but meet plenty of devotees already returning from the temple. Either they had left for the temple pretty early in the morning, or they must have stayed at Tulufedi, which is near the temple itself. The symmetrical steps and the rhododendron trees awaiting spring. Away from the hustle and bustle and pollution of the town, Pathivara is a serene and virgin destination. We try to listen to the experience of some of the devotees despite our fatigue. In a short while, we reach Tulufedi, the last bazaar and major human settlement before we reach Pathivara temple. Many travelers lodge at this place that also has a few hotels. For the first time, we see light rain and a bit of snow at this altitude. This beautiful bazaar has its own beauty as well as sorrow. This is a small trade center and lodging place for travelers.
अब कोही जापा कोही काठमाडौँ कोही अब उता अमेरिका कोही त्यस्तै युकेहरु अब यतै नेपालको मान्छे नि हो आउने त
ए त्यसरी आउनुहुन्छ
हजुर
तपाईले टेन्ट पनि राख्नु भएको छ नि
टेन्ट राखेको किन राख्नु भयो टेन्ट अब रुम हाम्रो थोरै छ त्यही भएर टेन्ट राखेको हो टेन्टमा पनि यसो सुतम भनेर
After a warm cup of tea in the cold weather, we resume our uphill walk to the temple. We see a huge copper gate made of all the copper utensils offered at the temple. Whoever are the lucky ones to have their offerings in the gate, it definitely welcomes the devotees first. A few meters away comes the temple of Kanchi Mata, or the youngest mother, Kanchi Mata is believed to be the youngest sister of Pathivara deity. We stopped for some time at the temple, heavily covered by snow. Probably the most adventurous journey in the whole trek begins from here in the snow-white jungle. The trees have bloomed in white snow. The path is covered by snow, and the travelers of all age group marching ahead with equal enthusiasm. Every traveler is carrying something to eat like roasted corn, grams and ginger to minimize the risk of altitude sickness, as the uphill walk leads to higher elevation. Chances of losing foot grip in the snow are very high without a walking stick. Walking sticks are provided free of cost by the hotels, given that you promise to return them. The people here are very helpful. Despite the stony steps to climb, they are fully covered in snow. We continue our enjoyable journey forward, sometimes losing our foot grip and trying to forget our fatigue. It took us around 4 hours to reach the temple premises. The gate welcomes us a bit ahead. There are a few structures built here for those who want to make an overnight stop. Only the structures offer shelter, and the travelers have to manage the rest themselves. These hanging bells welcome as we enter the temple premises through the main gate. Inside the temple premises, one feels as if this is the capital of a pristine natural paradise. We start capturing the temple and its surroundings in our camera. It is Sunday, and maybe because of the snow factor as well, we do not see many people in the temple. Otherwise, even the security personnel deployed here struggle to manage the throng of devotees, especially on Saturdays. The idol of deity Pathivara has been kept under the open sky due to the belief that it cannot be kept inside any structure. Divine, amazing and attractive temple of deity Pathivara. The legend of the deity is really impressive. Even small natural artifacts, otherwise not notable, create great impressions in our memory during trips like this. How can we be ignorant to the fact that health and fitness is of paramount importance during such trips? So we take some rest in a nearby place and start munching the roasted corn so as not to keep our stomachs empty. Hunger can easily lead to altitude sickness at such elevation. People offer copper utensils including oil-fed lamps, credence, with the belief that their wishes would be fulfilled. We also noticed devotees offering prayers at the never-extinguished flame at the temple. There is a huge cliff at the backside of the idol and big plain area towards the front side. The temples of other gods and goddesses in the premises look as if a divine army is guarding the deity. Popular belief is that paying homage at the temple fulfills all wishes, including children, peace, or prosperity. Sadly, we were deprived of the opportunity to enjoy the natural beauty of the surrounding due to inclement weather. However, we thoroughly enjoyed the snowfall. Every devotee seems happy and content for being able to pay homage here.
एकदमै राम्रो रहेछ तर बाटो चाहिँ अलि चिप्लो चिप्लो रहेछ हिउँ परेको कारणले तर राम्रै लाग्यो एकदम जोस रमाइलो रहेछ
यहाँ आउन चाहिँ मलाई धेरै वर्षदेखि मन थियो बट कहिले सोचेको थिएन कि म यहाँ आउन सक्छु आज आउने मौका पायो साह्रै खुसी लागेछ
अद्भुत अनुभव भएको छ मलाई र आज मैले यो लगभग 4-5 घण्टाको जो यात्रा हामी तल्लोबाट गरेका छौं हुन त हिउँ पनि परिरहेछ हिउँ परेको थियो हिउँ परे हुनाले अलिकति सम्लेर आयौं हामी तर अत्यन्त नै त्यस्तो केही छैन बाटोमा एउटा राम्रो तरिकाको एउटा अनुभव भएर हामी पुग्यौं माताको दर्शन भयो
It's really an ill attempt to travel to Pativara during winter as the whole area gets blanketed by snow. But only those who dare know the sheer pleasure. It cannot be expressed in words. Apart from the question that how the place would look without snow, nothing can be as pleasing as reaching there in winter. Just for reference, this is how it looks without snow.
Only after 6 decades of the institutional development of the now popular game of cricket did Nepal get the opportunity to play in the World Cup. Although cricket was introduced in Nepal during the Rana regime, the sport was confined to a limited number of people, namely the elite. It all started with equipment brought by students returning from their studies in Britain and India. Although Cricket Association of Nepal (CAN) was established in 1947, cricket remained centered among a few affluent individuals and in limited tournaments for a long time. Starting with the Bishnu Trophy in 1948, tournaments were limited to competitions like the Madan Memorial Sealed, Jugal Kishore Trophy, Rammani Trophy, and later the Jai Trophy. Even as the sport expanded outside Kathmandu Valley, it took decades for cricket to develop at the grassroots level. After the International Cricket Council (ICC) granted Nepal affiliate membership in 1988, Nepali cricket embarked on its international journey. The rule of mandatory participation in tournaments by the ICC and the Asian Cricket Council (ACC) opened doors to international competition for Nepal. After participating in the Under-19 Asian tournament in Hong Kong in 1996, Nepal has not looked back. Winning titles at the Asian and global levels, Nepali cricket team continues its journey towards the pinnacle of world cricket.
Goes down the ground because he was given that line outside off stump, so the first boundary of the contest, a handsome one.
Initially confined to Turikhel in Kathmandu, many international tournaments were hosted in Nepal after an international standard ground was built in Kirtipur. Nepal has also shown its proactiveness in differently abled cricket tournaments like the T20 World Cup for the blind in 2012 and the Asian Cricket Tournament for the deaf. Nepali women's national cricket team has also achieved remarkable success in a short period of time. The latest addition in Nepali cricket is the floodlit Tribhuvan University Cricket Stadium and the Nepal Premier League that has provided opportunity for Nepali players to rub shoulders with world-class players.
US President Donald Trump says Iran will be hit very hard unless the strategic Strait of Hormuz is reopened very soon in an interview with an international media. Trump added that talks were ongoing and that Iran want to make a deal.
The strait's going to be open very soon, or they're going to get hit very hard, and then the strait's going to be open. And we were going to a tremendous attack, the biggest since World War II. And they called me and said, very politely, please, can we talk? Can we talk? They didn't want. And I said, yes, we can talk. Let's get it done. Finally, let's get it done. The only thing that matters is action. And they want to make a deal. We'll see what happens. If they don't make a deal, it's going to be too bad.
Yemen's Iran-backed Houthi rebels say they have attacked a Saudi oil tanker off the port city of Yanbu in the Red Sea as they continue their declared maritime blockade against Saudi Arabia. The Houthis claim the strike is part of their campaign targeting Saudi-linked shipping, raising concerns over the security of a key global trade route.
القوات المسلحة اليمنية بفضل الله من استهداف سفينة وفاء النفطية السعودية شمالي البحر الأحمر أمام منطقة ينبع وذلك بعدد من الصواريخ البالستية وكانت الإصابة دقيقة بفضل الله وبهذا الاستهداف يكون إجمالي السفن التي استهدفتها قواتنا 8 سفن نفطية سعودية منذ بدء الحظر البحري في 22 من يوليو الماضي فيما بلغ إجمالي السفن التي تم منعها وإجبارها على التراجع والعودة في البحرين الأحمر والعربي 29 سفينة نفطية سعودية.
The incident comes amid wider regional tensions involving Iran, Saudi Arabia, and disruptions to shipping lanes in the Red Sea. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has rejected a US-backed draft proposal on the disarmament and demilitarization of Gaza, saying it does not reflect Israel's position. In a video statement released on Tuesday, Netanyahu said Israeli forces would not withdraw from their current positions until Hamas is completely disarmed, contradicting US President Donald Trump's earlier claim that Israel was satisfied with the proposed framework.
הנשיא טראמפ חושב, צוותו חושבים, שהם יכולים להביא את החמאס להתפרק מנשקו ולפרז את עזה. אנחנו בודקים את זה. הם שלחו לנו טיוטה, לא הסכמנו לה, זו לא טיוטה שלנו, שלחנו את ההערות שלנו.
Netanyahu said Israel had already submitted its own changes to the US proposal while reaffirming that national security remains his government's top priority. At least 15 people have been killed and dozens more wounded after Russian missile and drone strikes hit Kiev and surrounding regions of Ukraine overnight, authorities said on Wednesday. The barrage struck residential buildings and warehouses across the capital area, triggering fires and causing widespread damage as emergency crews responded at several locations. An international media reported hearing explosions in Kiev after midnight, with smoke and the smell of burning remaining in parts of the city hours later. The attack comes as Russia has intensified its use of missiles and drones against Ukraine, while Kiev continues to seek additional air defense systems from its allies. The latest strikes are part of an escalating long-range conflict between Russia and Ukraine, with both sides carrying out attacks far beyond the front lines. The probability of a strong El Niño event developing has increased, according to China's National Climate Center, raising concerns over possible global weather impacts. The center said sea surface temperatures in the central and eastern equatorial Pacific crossed El Niño thresholds in May, warmed further in June, and entered strong El Niño monitoring status in early July. The climate event is expected to continue until at least next spring, lasting around a year. Meteorologists say the effects of strong El Niño events often appear months after the peak, as changes in ocean temperatures gradually influence global weather patterns. A strong El Niño could affect rainfall, temperatures, and extreme weather risks in different parts of the world. A severe heat wave sweeping across Europe has pushed temperatures to record levels, triggered high-level alerts, and accelerated the melting of Austria's largest glacier. Austria recorded its hottest days on record, with temperatures in Vienna exceeding 41 degrees Celsius for the first time, while authorities warned that extreme heat will continue in the coming days. The intense temperatures are also affecting the Pasters Glacier, where rapid ice loss has raised concerns that the country's largest glacier could split into two sections this year. Scientists say rising temperatures linked to climate change are accelerating glacier retreat, with melting seasons in the Alps now lasting longer than in previous decades. Across Europe, countries including Italy and Hungary have issued heat warnings as officials urge people to protect themselves from the risks of prolonged extreme heat. The World Health Organization is calling for additional international support to contain an Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo, warning that the spread of the disease is exceeding current response capacity. WHO spokesperson Tariq Jasarevich said more funding and resources are needed to expand emergency operations and strengthen efforts to control the outbreak. The agency said the country has recorded 3,748 confirmed Ebola cases, including 1,657 deaths, while hundreds of patients have recovered and thousands of contacts remain under monitoring. Health authorities working with the WHO and other partners are continuing vaccination, surveillance, and treatment efforts. The WHO has also warned of the risk of further transmission due to population movements and the possibility of the virus spreading across borders. Hundreds of residents have been evacuated in Guatemala after the Fuego volcano erupted, sending lava, ash, and volcanic material into nearby communities. Authorities raised the alert level as activity intensified, with emergency shelters opened for people forced to leave their homes. In San Juan Alotenango, displaced residents said they feared for their safety and worried about leaving their belongings unattended. Fuego, one of Central America's most active volcanoes, is being closely monitored as officials assess the risk of further eruptions after possible hazards. A suspect has appeared in a Greek court after the body of a British woman was found inside a suitcase in Athens, sparking a police investigation. Greek authorities said they arrested a 26-year-old man on Sunday and stated that he had confessed to the killing, though the case remains under investigation. The suspect was taken to court in Athens as prosecutors continued examining the circumstances surrounding the woman's death. Authorities have not released further details about the investigation, including the motive, as legal proceedings continue. The case has drawn attention in Greece and the United Kingdom due to the nationality of the victim and the circumstances of the discovery. Brazil has asked Argentina to recall its ambassador following a diplomatic dispute sparked by comments made by Argentine President Javier Milei about his Brazilian counterpart Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva. The dispute intensified after Milei referred to Lula as a thief, prompting a formal response from Brasilia. Brazil's request marks a new strain in relations between the two South American neighbors, despite their close economic ties. Scenes from the Brazilian embassy and the ambassador's official residence in Buenos Aires showed the diplomatic facilities at the center of the dispute. Both governments have yet to indicate whether the disagreement will affect broader cooperation between the countries. Emergency services in Germany deployed a bomb disposal robot at Leipzig-Halle Airport in eastern Germany after an unidentified object led to the temporary closure of a runway and the diversion of flights. The object was discovered near the airport's south runway at around 11:40 p.m. local time on Tuesday, prompting authorities to launch a security operation. Flight operations were disrupted for several hours before normal traffic resumed in the early hours of Wednesday. Authorities used specialist equipment to assess the object, though details about its nature were not immediately released. Leipzig-Halle Airport is one of Germany's major cargo and passenger hubs, and officials are continuing to investigate the incident. A historic mansion near London, once used by British intelligence to secretly monitor Nazi generals during World War II, has reopened as a museum highlighting its wartime past. Trent Park was converted into a detention center for senior German prisoners of war, where hidden listening devices captured private conversations about Nazi military plans. While the officers lived in comfortable surroundings above ground, intelligence officers monitored their discussions from a covert basement operation. Museum director Giuseppe Albano says the strategy was to make the prisoners feel relaxed so they would speak freely and reveal information. The newly opened Trent Park House of Secrets aims to preserve the little-known role the site played in Britain's wartime intelligence efforts. Japan has conducted a live fire test of a US-made Tomahawk cruise missile launched from one of its naval destroyers in the Pacific Ocean as Tokyo strengthens its defense capabilities. The missile, which can strike targets at distances of up to 1,000 miles, was fired from the Japanese Maritime Self-Defense Forces Chokai warship on July 29. The test comes as Japan expands its military capabilities under a revised security strategy, citing growing regional threats from countries including China, Russia, and North Korea. The move marks a shift from Japan's post-World War II pacifist defense posture, which has limited its military role for decades. Thousands of garment workers in Bangladesh are losing their jobs as the country's crucial textile export sector faces a slowdown in demand and rising competition. Mosamad Aklima is among around 3,000 workers recently made redundant in a single round of layoff as factories struggle with declining orders. Bangladesh's garment industry, one of the world's largest clothing exporters, has been a major source of employment and foreign currency earnings for decades. Industry officials say increased competition from countries such as India and Vietnam, along with weaker global demand, has put pressure on manufacturers. The crisis is raising concerns over the livelihoods of millions of workers who depend on the sector. Scientists are preparing to study the sun's atmosphere and activity during a rare total solar eclipse visible from Spain next week, hoping to unlock more secrets about our star. The moon will completely block the sun on August 12, allowing researchers to examine the sun's outer atmosphere, magnetic field, and solar storms that can affect satellites, astronauts, and communications on Earth. Scientists from agencies including the European Space Agency and France's Atomic Energy Commission will use the brief period of darkness to test models of solar activity and improve understanding of space weather. Total solar eclipses have historically contributed to major scientific discoveries, including observations in 1919 that helped confirm Albert Einstein's theory of relativity. Researchers say the event offers a rare opportunity to study the sun's corona, which can reach temperatures of millions of degrees despite being far less visible than the sun's surface. Cabo Verde goalkeeper Virginia has received a hero's welcome in Santiago after signing for Chilean club Colo-Colo following his standout performances at the FIFA World Cup. The 40-year-old became one of the tournament's surprise stars, helping Cape Verde make a historic World Cup run with key saves against eventual champion Spain and finalist Argentina. Virginia said he was proud to join Colo-Colo and described the move as a great honor.
Estoy muy feliz de estar aquí. Una grande honra representar el Colo-Colo y quiero agradecer el cariño y la paciencia de los hinchas.
A majestic destination blessed by cultural, religious, historic, and natural diversities. Nepal is the country of Mount Everest and the birthplace of Lord Gautama Buddha. Karnali is synonymous to Nepal. One can experience the diversity of Nepal by visiting Karnali province. It is a must-go destination for those who want to experience the real Nepal. Karnali, that represents Nepal's age-old civilization, is in itself mesmerizing. The province has immense tourism potential with its unique natural, religious, cultural, archaeological, and historic diversity. famous tourist destinations in the province have played important role in representing Nepal at the international level. Tourism can be the base for prosperity of Karnali region based on its immense prospects. Lakes, water bodies and famous religious sites are the major attractions for tourists in this province. Rara Lake, Sefoksundu Lake, Bulbule Lake, Chayanath, Dai Lake, Sinja Valley, Humla. This is Rara. Rara is the largest lake in Nepal. The lake is situated at Chayanath Rural Municipality of Mugu District in the Rara National Park. The unique lake is not just known for the different species of rare fishes and the musk ducks, but also for the changing color as per the climatic condition. Many foreign tourists come here to witness the camouflage of this majestic lake. Virgin destination a few years back. Now more than 50,000 tourists flock the Rara Lake every year, and the number is constantly on the rise. Land and air are the two means to reach Rara Lake. You can reach Rara in a day from Kathmandu by air. From Trivandrum International Airport, Kathmandu to Nepalganj, and another flight from Nepalganj to Talcher Airport in Mugu is the easiest option. However, from Talcher, it is another 3 hours uphill walk to reach the breathtaking Rara Lake. If you choose land travel, it might take up to 3 days. A day's travel from Kathmandu to Surkhet, an overnight stay. Manma, the district headquarters of Kalikot, from Surkhet, an overnight stay, and on the third day you can reach the Rara Lake. You need not walk if you choose this route for Rara Lake. Humla is a very remote Himalayan district of Nepal bordering Mugu. It has great touristic importance. Many pilgrims who want to go to the mythical Kailas mountain via Mansarovar take the journey via Humla district. Tourists, mainly Indian pilgrims, travel to Mansarovar, one of the largest pure water bodies at the highest altitude in the world, for religious purposes. This is the shortest and the most convenient route for the pilgrims. Most of the pilgrims traveling to Mansarovar choose air trip up to Simikot of Humla from Nepalganj. From Simikot, helicopter trip up to Hilsa, from where they enter Chinese autonomous region of Tibet. One day's drive from entering Tibet, the pilgrims reach Mansarovar. The Kimi Valley of Humla is another new tourist destination in the district. Ancient idols of archaeological importance and the monasteries have given it a new name, the Valley of Monasteries. These priceless statues, sculptures, and artifacts are the major attractions in the valley. Majority of the tourists visiting Karnali are the pilgrims from India. Culturally, the people of the Karnali region believe in multi-deity worship, but majority pay homage to their ancestral deity, the Master God. The famous ritual of worshipping 12 master deities has become a popular subject for researchers and tourists alike. Karnali is a majestic land, naturally as well as culturally. It has religious and cultural heritages in abundance. It offers attractions for tourists of varying interests. Somewhat deprived in education, health, and employment. Karnali's tourism potential, due to its unique and diverse nature, geography, religion, culture, history, and archaeology, is unexplored. Many potential tourist destinations have yet to be explored in this region. So far, 101 destinations in the region have been branded as of touristic importance. Of the 101, 13 are under federal government, 9 under province government, and 79 under local levels. Karnali might lack top-class infrastructures including roadways, hotels or communications, but many destinations attract adventure tourists. Likewise, medicinal herbs like Yarsagumba, Kali Marsi paddy, millet and barley fields attract tourists when in full bloom. some of the best organic dishes on offer. You might find Kali Marsi paddy, honey, broad beans, dry apple, marfa, barley, sipped wool products as the gifts of Karnali. Whitewater rafting in the 5th best river in the world, Karnali, and Veri, tall and majestic Kanjirova, Patarasi and Sisne mountains, open for expedition, challenge mountaineers and explorers alike. Karnali is also known as the origin of civilizations, including language, literature, art, and culture. It's a pure and revered land. It has a lot to offer to researchers and explorers. Surkhet, the provincial headquarters of Karnali, is the gateway to most of the tourist destinations. Karnali Highway connects some of the destinations, including Kotgadi, Panchadeval, Bilaspur, Mahabu area in Daily. Pachal waterfall in Kalikot, Sinja Valley and the Dul Monastery of Jumla, and Rara Lake of Mugu. Very few destinations of Mugu and Jumla have road access. On the other hand, many budget travelers are not encouraged to traveling in Karnali, as it is relatively expensive due to unavailability of road network. It is a must-go destination for those who want to experience the real Nepal.
They say that life is all connected, even the most remote of animals and humans all rose from this earth. But after years of life on land and sea, have we thought about how far these connections sustain? Deep within Sri Lanka lies Udavalava, nestled nearly 200 kilometers away from the bustling capital city of Colombo. Born out of the need for agriculture, the Udavalava Reservoir in the 1960s paved the way for elephants to find refuge in the area. The town of Udavalava is an extraordinary tapestry of society where the vibrant synergy of locals and wildlife flourishes. A town where a national park, agricultural land, an elephant transit home, and a community all exist in their harmony. As the sun rises over the serene Udavalava National Park, the people who call this place home embrace a livelihood intricately woven with nature's splendor. Resources are shared among the people of Udavalava and elephants alike. They thrive by building and trading monuments of culture around the world of elephants.
Today in the morning we make the safari, like 4 hours on the jeep, and it was actually really nice. We saw some elephants. We really enjoyed.
cherished traditions in Sri Lanka, passed down through generations, is the awe-inspiring Gajaga Vannama, a mesmerizing dance performance that showcases the elegant spirit of elephants, honoring their grace and power in Sri Lankan heritage. This is the elephant transit home called At Athurusevana, a haven that serves as a refuge for orphaned, injured and malnourished elephants. This is where we found the enchanting tale of Namal.
අපේ දෙපාර්තමේන්තුවේ නිලධාරීන්ට හම්බෙලා තියෙන අම්පාර නාමල්ලෝය කියන ප්‍රදේශයේදී වැලක පැටලිලා තුවාල වෙලා ඉන්න පොඩි පැටියෙක් තමයි හම්බෙලා තියෙන කකුලේ ආබාධයෙන් හින්දා උඩවල ඇත්තතුරු සෙවණට ගෙනල්ලා මෙයාව අර කකුලේ තුවාලේ වැඩි වෙන හින්දා මෙයාගේ ජීවිතේ බේර ගන්න තමයි මේ කකුල කපලා අයින් කරලා මෙයාට මේ කෘත්‍රිම කකුලක් හදලා දාලා උඩවල ඇත්තතුරු සෙවණේ බලාගන්න. අවුරුදු 13ක වයස වගේ ටිකක් වෙනස් සතෙක් මෙයා ටිකක් අර සැරයි. ටිකක් සාමාන්‍ය අනිත් අයට වගේ එහෙම කිට්ටු වෙන්න අමාරු. උරු වෙච්ච එක්කෙනෙකුට දෙන්නෙකුට වගේ තමයි මෙයත් එක්ක ගනුදෙනු කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඩෝලව මේ ආශ්‍රිත ප්‍රදේශයට ලොකු සම්පතක්. මොකද මේ වගේ සතෙක් මුළු ලෝකේ කොහෙවත් නැහැ. මොන ජීවිත අවදානම හරි මොන දේ තිබ්බත් අර ගොඩක් මම කැමති මේ සතාව බලා ගන්න. මොකද මේ එහෙම කවුරුත් නැතුව ගියොත් මේ සතා තවත් අසරණ වෙනවනේ.
Like Namal, all these gentle giants receive the loving care and attention they so desperately need at this elephant transit home located close to the national park. While Namal flourishes under the watchful eyes of his caretakers, not too far away from the park, the battle for resources between elephants and humans looms.
වයින් නැති කාලෙට ඒ කියන්නේ පැවුම් කාලේට අනිවාර්යෙන්ම එනවා වැඩි. ඒ වෙනකොට උන්ටක් කන්න දෙයක් නැහැ. ඉතින් උනුත් මේවට එනවා. කියන්නේ අපි ඉතින් එලවනවා. ඉතින් කරදරයක් වෙන්නේ නැහැ දැනුවත් වෙනා. උන්ටත් ඉතින් අපිත් උන් එලවනවා. උන් එනවා. ඉතින් වගාවල් පයින්නවා. දිගටම ඒක තමයි ඉතින් වෙන්නේ. 6 වෙනකොට 6 7 වෙනකොට අනිවාර්යෙන් බහිනෝමයි යලි මේවට. කොටු හිටවනවා කෙසෙල් ඔක්කොම ඉතින් කඩා කප්පල් වල දාලා උන්ගේ කැලේ උනාට ඉතින් අපිත් ගොවිතැනක් කරගන්න මේකට ආවේ. ගොවිතැන් බතක් කරගෙන ඉතින් අපි ඉන්නෝට ඉතින් තරහයි ඉතින් මොනෝ කරන්නද? අලියා! අලියා!
In the face of these challenges, the transit home provided a glimmer of hope. The generous support and compassion of humans offered a lifeline to these magnificent beings.
ඇත්තතු සෙවන කියන එකේ තේමාවම ගත්තොත් යලිත් සිය නිජිබිම් කරා පාන ගන්න කියන තේමාවට තමයි මේක ආරම්භ වුනේ. විශේෂයෙන් මානව ක්‍රියාකාරකම් සහ විවිධ ස්වභාවික සංසිද්ධීන් අනුව අවතැන් වෙන තුවාල වුණු අතරමං වුණු සත්තු අලිපැටව විශේෂයෙන් පුනරුත්ථාපනය කරන මධ්‍යස්ථානයක්. ඒගොල්ලෝ යම්කිසි කාලයක් මේගොල්ලන්ගේ පෝෂණය, සෞඛ්‍ය විවිධ සමාජීය කටයුතු කරලා මේගොල්ලෝ නිසි වයස එළඹුණාන් පස්සේ මේගොල්ලෝ නැවත ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ නිජබිම් වලට ස්වභාවික පරිසරයට නිදහස් කිරීම තමයි මෙතන වෙන මූලික සංකල්පය.
Current societal changes, the cultural changes and the development changes has resulted in what we hear and the way we see things today in the present. Today the tourists come to see elephants in captive locations like Udawalawe. Now these relationships and these things being successful in Sri Lanka is because of development, and yet there is this feeling of sustainability in nature that Sri Lankan has, and therefore we feel the elephant as still part of our naturalness.
People help these gentle giants by fostering and even donating milk to the little elephants that find their way to this second home, ensuring that they are nurtured before joining the wilderness once again.
This is the first time, so the baby elephants are so cute.
Yes.
So cute, so many. I like elephants because they're very cute and we don't have elephants at home.
ජීවිතේ ප්‍රථම වතාවට තමයි මේ වගේ අත්දැකීමක් විඳින්න හම්බුනේ. ඒක තහඳ සුන්දර අත්දැකීමක්. මේ වගේ අලි කුඩා අලි පැටව දකින්න ලැබුණේ නම් ප්‍රථම වතාවට මෙහෙම ඒගොල්ලෝ කිරි බොනවා, කෑම කනවා දකින්න ලැබිච්ච ඉතින් සුන්දර අත්දැකීමක් විඳින්න හම්බුණා.
The opportunities to see the wild animals and to be with nature and to be in nature is amazing. Absolutely amazing.
උඩවලවේ අලියා ඉන්න නිසා තමයි මේ හැම දෙයක්ම අපට ලැබිලා තියෙන්නේ. විශේෂයෙන්ම අලියා අපි කියනවා කීස්ටෝන් එකක්. එහෙම නැත්නම් එයා යතුරක්. ඒක ජාතික වනෝද්‍යානය තුළ සංරක්ෂිත භූමිය විතරක් නෙමෙයි අලියා යතුරු පෝරුවක් වෙන්නේ. අලියා සංරක්ෂිත ප්‍රදේශයෙන් පිට පරිබාහිර මේ ගම්මාන වලටත් මේ අලියා යතුරු පෝරුවක් කරනවා. මොකද මේ යතුරු කැරැල්ලේ ප්‍රධාන යතුරු නැති වුණොත් මේ ගම වැටෙන්න පුළුවන්. විශේෂයෙන්ම ඍජු හා වක්‍ර රැකියාවල් 10000කට ආසන්න ප්‍රමාණයක් මේ වෙද්දී උඩවලව ආශ්‍රිතව උඩවලව ජාතික වනෝද්‍යානය ආශ්‍රිතව සංචාරක කර්මාන්තයට දායක වෙනවා.
And amidst the serene landscapes of the Udawalawa National Park, tourism flourishes. Visitors from around the world are welcomed to witness the grandeur of elephants in their natural habitat, forging a profound and everlasting connection with nature and Sri Lanka. Yet, the true essence of sustainability lies beyond the surface, entwined with the very existence of these gentle giants.
The national park's incredible. So many elephants. We saw the baby orphans this morning as well, which was amazing. Really, really cool. Yeah, just so much to see.
The prosperity of the people relies on the delicate balance created by the coexistence of humans and elephants. As the sun sets over the enchanting landscapes of Udawalawa, the resounding rhythm of the gentle giants prevails.
My first time, and it's like magnificent. These animals are so beautiful. Like crazy. We've seen hundreds of elephants.
The timeless tales of these elephants stand as a subtle reminder of how people and the gentle beasts alike can walk together. It symbolizes the power of sustainable tourism in Sri Lanka. It symbolizes the power of togetherness.
Pokhara is undoubtedly #1 destination for tourists in Nepal. The valley, blessed with natural beauty, attracts domestic and foreign tourists alike. You must have already visited Pokhara. If you haven't or planning another trip, then these are some of the must-go places in Pokhara. The first attraction in Pokhara is the Feva Lake. Boating in Feva Lake is a ritual for every tourist visiting this paradise. The Tal Barahi temple at the center of the lake adds to the beauty of the place. A round-trip boat ride in Feva Lake to and from the temple is a feature of both the lake as well as the temple. Separate boat ride watching the reflection of Mount Machapuchri on the lake and fishing spice up the Phewa experience. The lakeside along the banks of the Phewa Lake is a popular tourist hub. Many tourists in Pokhara choose Devi's Fall as their second destination in Pokhara. The water from Phewa Lake exits towards Seti River through the Gupteshwar cave from this Devi's Fall. The mighty water stream rushing deep down into the gorge, covered by water vapor, is a magical sight. Pokhara is known as the city of lakes and caves. Many of the lakes and caves have religious importance. This is Gupteshwar cave at Chorepatan area. Inside the cave, the idol of Lord Shiva is a well-known pilgrimage. Further inside the cave, one can see the Devi's Fall. Mahendra Cave is another famous place in Pokhara, and nearby is another well-known Chamere cave. Both the caves can be visited together. Two other well-known tourist destinations in Pokhara are Begnas and Rupa lakes. Fresh fish of Begnas Lake is a sought-after delicacy. Rupa Lake is just round the corner beyond a small hill towards the eastern edge of Begnas Lake. Away from the hustle and bustle of the town, Begnas and Rupa lakes cannot be taken out of a tourist's itinerary. This is the famous White Monastery on top of the hill above Phewa Lake. This is also a popular destination for domestic as well as foreign tourists. The top-angle bird's-eye view of Pokhara city from the monastery is a sight to behold. The placid Phewa Lake, the tall mountain range, and the birds like paragliding pilots on the background of Sarankot Hill are mesmerizing. The Bindabasini temple in Pokhara is a famous shrine in Nepal. The best route to visit the temple is on the way to Sarankot. Devotees throng the Bindabasini temple, which is atop a small hill with panoramic view of Pokhara city. The Bindabasini temple is famous among the Hindus across the country. Sarankot is a hill station on top of a hill on the northwestern side of Pokhara. A must-go place to see the majestic Mount Machapuchre and Mount Dhaulagiri in the Annapurna range in front of the eyes, and also the Pokhara and Leknath cities on the other side. Sarankot is synonymous to paragliding in Nepal. Taking off from the Sarankot hill, one can enjoy the panoramic mountain range in addition to the bird's eye view of Pokhara city. Ultralight and zip flyer offer a thrill to adventure seekers in Pokhara and are becoming major interests for tourists. Other places including Swarak in Sangja have the potential to be world's best place for paragliding. First time in Nepal, Paragliding Accuracy World Cup was held at this place, situated at Mahapur of Virkot municipality of the district. The place drew global attention after the event. Pokhara, famous tourism destination of the country. Majority of locals engaged in tourism industry. The city of lakes and caves, hub of aviation sports. Some major destinations: Lakeside, Feva Lake and Tal Barahi Temple, Begnas and Rupa Lakes, Mahendra Gufa.
These hills and valleys are witnesses to change. They hold countless dreams and the aspirations of a prosperous nation. Beneath their natural beauty lies a deeper reality, a true portrait of life. Here, the geography is visible, but the emotions are heard. Our effort is to bring closer the landscape and sentiments of Rukum West, a region filled with dreams, possibilities, and determination. Since the Mid-Hill Highway connected Rukum, it has played a vital role in local development. It has helped market local produce, boosted livelihoods and employment, and promoted the region's stunning nature, languages, arts, and culture. Many older residents never imagined a road passing near their homes or ever riding in a vehicle. Now, as cars glide smoothly over these hills and ridges, their joy is unmistakable. As we pass through the villages of Rukum, we encounter countless stories of hope and trust. Signs of development are increasingly visible at the local level. Vehicles now travel on blacktop roads, and improved access to technology has made rural life more dynamic. Whether it is Sanka in Musikot municipality or Rimna Dobhan in Sani Bheri rural municipality, these communities not only reflect the natural beauty of Rukum West, but also narrate inspiring stories of transformation. Rukum is a district shaped by a decade-long armed conflict. During those years, it stood at the center of national attention. Yet after the peace process, its development trajectory has steadily risen. Improvements in roads, political awareness, education, and healthcare have all played crucial role in this progress. In the remote terrains, the natural beauty is inseparable from the faces of the people who live here. Expressions of longing, eyes searching for their children, and the countless struggles behind their simple dreams all resonate deeply. Despite stories of positive change, the migration of many young people abroad remains a pressing concern. A district rich in nature and culture now faces the challenge of a shrinking youth population, which limits its potential for prosperity. Traveling this road, crossing rivers, climbing hills, and enjoying the northern Himalayan views is a unique experience. From the lowlands of Jorjahari, along the banks of Bheri River, through Ramni Dobhan to the district headquarters in Khalanga, and onward through the scenic settlement of Sanka into eastern Rukum, the journey is breathtaking. Yet, this land is still searching for its youth so that its beauty can be tied to prosperity. Here in this rugged terrain, the reality is visible and the emotions you hear are true.
हिरण्यबाहवे हिरण्यवर्णाय हिरण्यरूपाय हिरण्यपतये अम्बिकापतये उमापतये पशुपतये नमो नमः।
Parliamentary Committee directs the government to seek clarification from rights groups, rejects allegation of political interference in judiciary. Technical upgrades disrupt Nepal's driving license and national identity systems. Thousands face delays as key public services remain affected. Stray cattle continue to threaten farms and road safety across Nepal's Tarai. Experts call for stronger long-term management. US President Donald Trump warns Iran will be hit very hard unless the strategic Strait of Hormuz is reopened, adds talks were ongoing. Former Bangladeshi Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina urges global backing for democracy in Bangladesh vows to return as political tension persists. And ICC confirms the schedule for the 2027 Cricket World Cup qualifiers. Nepal will begin its campaign from the qualification playoff stage. Good evening, I'm Suveksha Rajak and you are watching NTV World News Hour, coming to you live from Kathmandu at 2200 hours Nepal time. Now the news in details. Nepal's Parliamentary Committee on Law, Justice and Human Rights has directed the government to seek clarification from Amnesty International. The International Commission of Jurists and Human Rights Watch over their joint statement concerning the independence of Nepal's judiciary. The committee has asked the Ministry of Women, Children, Gender and Social Security to obtain both explanations and supporting evidence from the organizations regarding the claims made in their July 24th statement.
यहाँको न्यायपालिका यहाँको चाहिँ जुन सेपरेसन अफ पावर छ अनि इन्स्टिट्युसनहरुको आफ्नो लिमिट छ त्यहाँ भित्र चाहिँ एकले अर्कालाई इन्क्लोज नगरौँ है सबै कुरा ठीकठाक होस् है भनेर यसरी अब्जर्भरको स्टेटसमा रहेका यसरी इन्टरनेशनल इन्स्टिट्युसनहरुले चासो राख्नु यसको बारेमा केही हुँदैछ कि भनेर सोच्नु त्यसलाई हामी स्वाभाविक ठान्न सक्थ्यौं तर एक वचन सरकारलाई तपाईहरुले यसो गर्न लागेको हो भनेर उहाँहरुले किन सोध्न नसकेको र उहाँहरुले हामीलाई नसोध्दै आफ्नो कल्पित धारणालाई प्रेस स्टेटमेन्ट बनाउने विषयलाई हामीले कसरी लिने ल भन्नुस् त्यसकारणले उहाँहरुले जुन खालको जोइन्ट प्रेस स्टेटमेन्ट निकाल्नु भयो यसमा हाम्रो आपत्ति छ यसका बारेमा उहाँहरुले जवाफ दिनुपर्छ
एमनेस्टी इन्टरनेशनल कमिसन अफ जुरिस्ट र ह्युमन राइट्स वाच जस्ता संस्थाहरूले नेपालको स्वतन्त्र न्यायपालिका र सार्वभौम सांसदको विधि निर्माण सम्बन्धी विधायकी अधिकार समेतलाई लिएर 2083 साउन 8 गते तदनुसार जुलाई 24 2026 गते जारी गरेको संयुक्त विज्ञप्तिका आधिकारिक प्रमाणहरू समेत प्राप्त गर्ने गरी तत्त संस्थालाई स्पष्टीकरण माग गर्न र सोको जानकारी समितिलाई गराउन निर्देशन दिने.
The panel also urged the government to strengthen judicial transparency, accountability and service delivery while upholding judicial independence, the separation of powers and the principles of good governance. In addition, the committee called the stricter monitoring of projects implemented by international and non-governmental organizations to ensure they comply with Nepal's laws and the objectives outlined in the agreements. Moving on, Nepal's transition to upgraded digital public service platforms continues to face setbacks, with driving license services suspended for more than 20 days and technical issues delaying the issuance of national identity cards. The Department of Transport Management halted license services on July 17th to launch a new digital licensing system, but repeated technical failures have postponed its rollout, leaving applicants unable to apply for, renew or obtain licenses. Meanwhile, the national identity card system is also undergoing an upgrade. Although authorities say national identity numbers are still being issued, technical problems have delayed card issuance and caused inconvenience for applicants seeking passports, foreign employment, banking and other essential services, with the government integrating the national identity card into an increasing number of public services. The prolonged disruptions have raised concerns over the pace of Nepal's digital transformation and the impact on citizens awaiting essential documents. More on this in our cover story later in the bulletin. Now, moving on, stray cattle have become one of the most pressing agricultural and road safety challenges in Nepal's Tarai, with abandoned animals damaging crops, disrupting livelihoods and contributing to fatal road crashes. Local and provincial governments have spent more than 150 million rupees on cattle management, including shelters and rescue operations. But the problem continues to affect districts such as Koilali and Kanchanpur. Although some municipalities have reported improvements, farmers continue to suffer heavy losses. The crisis also reflects a broader regional challenge across South Asia. Free-roaming cattle, dogs and other animals are increasingly linked to serious traffic accidents, particularly involving motorcyclists and other vulnerable road users. We'll dive deeper into this in our Issue of the Day segment later in the bulletin. Now, US President Donald Trump says Iran will be hit very hard unless the strategic Strait of Hormuz is reopened very soon. In an interview with Fox News, Trump added that talks were ongoing and that Iran want to make a deal.
The strait's going to be open very soon, or they're going to get hit very hard, and then the strait's going to be open. We were going to a tremendous attack, the biggest since World War II. And they called me and said, very politely, please, can we talk? Can we talk? They didn't want. And I said, yes, we can talk. Let's get it done. Finally, let's get it done.
Former Bangladeshi Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has appealed to the international community to support what she described as Bangladesh's struggle for democracy, saying stability in Bangladesh is essential for peace across South Asia. In a first public media address since being removed from power in 2024, Hasina called for the ban on her Awami League party to be lifted and reaffirmed her intention to return to Bangladesh later this year. She also claimed that the 2024 student-led protests were manipulated by organized groups to seize power outside the democratic process. Bangladesh's current government has barred local media from broadcasting her remarks, reflecting the continuing political tension surrounding her return to public life. The International Cricket Council has confirmed that the 2027 ICC Men's Cricket World Cup qualifier will be held from February 22 to March 23 next year, although the host venue has yet to be announced. Under the ICC's new qualification format, Nepal will have to start its campaign from the qualification playoff stage in its bid to reach the World Cup. The winner of the qualifier will earn direct entry to the tournament's main group stage, while the second, third and fourth place teams will advance to the Super Series, where one additional team will qualify. The 2027 ICC Men's Cricket World Cup will be jointly hosted by South Africa, Zimbabwe and Namibia for October 4th to November 11th, with 12 teams competing across 12 host cities. Millions spent, yet stray cattle continue to destroy crops and endanger life. We examine why Nepal's Tarai is still struggling with the growing crisis in our Issue of the Day segment after this break. Welcome back. You're watching NTV World News Hour, and it's time for Issue of the Day. The stray cattle crisis has become one of the most pressing challenges facing Nepal's Tarai, threatening both agriculture and public safety. Despite millions of rupees spent by the local and provincial government to resolve the problem and management programs, farmers continue to suffer heavy crop losses while stray cattle remain a growing hazard on roads. Experts argue that the crisis cannot be solved by cattle shelters alone. Rojin arrived with our local correspondent Dinesh Bister from Kailali brings the report.
The stray cattle crisis has become one of the biggest agricultural and public safety challenges in Nepal's Tarai region. Thousands of abandoned cattle roam freely across the districts such as Koilali and Kanchanpur, damaging crops and creating serious risk for motorists and pedestrians. In response, local and provincial governments have invested more than 150 million Nepali rupees, about 987,000 US dollars. Despite the significant spending, the crisis remains the same. Dhangari sub-metropolitan city alone has spent 26.3 million rupees on building and operating gausalas, cow shelters. Other local governments have also invested millions of rupees in similar efforts. Among local governments, Dhangari sub-metropolitan city has achieved comparatively better results through regular rescue operations and improved shelter management. Even so, farmers continue to lose crops and stray cattle remain a major road safety hazard. Without strong policies, better coordination, and sustained long-term investment, the crisis is expected to continue affecting thousands across the lowlands.
लगभग 5-4-5 लाख मात्रै हुन्छ एकै ठाउँमा 2-3 करोड लगानी गरेर पुरा त्यो गौशाला नै म्युजियम बनाएर अर्थ बनाइन्छ.
The data show stray cattle have been linked to the deaths of 7 people over the past 3 years. Authorities say continuous rescue operation and better management of shelters have helped reduce the number of stray cattle on major highways.
सामानहरु सामग्रीहरु हैन अनि त्यो भौतिक आवश्यकता सेडहरु हामीले बनायो.
The continuing crisis exposes gap not only in implementation but also in monitoring and long-term planning, and demand coordinated action from all levels of government, local communities and other stakeholders.
Road crashes claim more than 1.16 million lives every year around the world, while speeding, unsafe driving and poor road conditions remain major causes. Another often overlooked danger is free roaming animals on roads. We'll look into some of the striking numbers that suggest that unmanaged stray animals are becoming a major headache on the streets, mainly in South Asia.
In South Asia, stray dogs, abandoned cattle, buffaloes, and other livestock are increasingly contributing to serious and sometimes fatal crashes. Globally, more than 90% of road traffic deaths occur in low and middle income countries, making the issue especially relevant across this region. Asia has the world's largest population of free-roaming dogs, while cattle, goats, and monkeys frequently wander onto roads in many countries. Sudden animal crossings can force drivers to brake or swerve, leading to collisions that disproportionately affect motorcyclists and other vulnerable road users. The challenge is particularly acute in South Asia, where rapid urbanization, open grazing, poor waste management, and weak animal registration systems allow stray animal populations to grow. According to the World Health Organization, the Southeast Asia region accounts for roughly 28% of global road traffic deaths, underlining the urgent need for stronger road safety measures. In Nepal, community dogs and abandoned cattle are common sights on highways and urban roads. A recent study along the East-West Highway in Bhimdatta municipality documented multiple crashes involving stray animals, resulting in both human and animal fatalities. More than 90% of surveyed road users reported encountering stray animals on the road every day, highlighting how routine the risk has become. Several countries have demonstrated that humane management can improve both road safety and animal welfare. The Netherlands has virtually eliminated stray dogs through compulsory registration, microchipping, and strict anti-abandonment laws. Bhutan has earned international recognition for nationwide catch, neuter, vaccinate, release programs. while India and Sri Lanka continue expanding sterilization and vaccination campaigns. Nepal can strengthen its response through a nationwide animal census, mass sterilization and rabies vaccination, improved waste management, livestock identification, better roadside fencing in accident hotspots, and stronger enforcement against animal abandonment. Protecting people on the road also means responsibly managing the animals that share it.
In this context, today in our Public Pulse segment, we have asked how should the problem of stray cattle be addressed. Let's have a look.
बार लगाएकाहरूले पनि आफ्ना बालीहरू पूरा रूपमा पाइरहेका छैनन् बारबाट पनि खाइदिएको अवस्था रहेको छ
सरकारले कुनै कदम उठाइदिए हुन्थ्यो यहाँ किसानहरूलाई शास्ति भइराछ छाडा चौपायाले गर्दा धान बाली सबै खाइदिराछन्
खेतमा गहुँ धान केही नरहने भोकमरीको अवस्था आएको हुँदा नगरपालिका र प्रदेश र ओडा मिलेर चाहिँ यो हामीले सुरुवात गरेको हो
यतातिरबाट गाडी आइरहनु उतातिरबाट अर्को गाडी आउनु यो बीचमा चाहिँ त्यो अवस्था यी कारणहरूले पनि धेरै ठुलो समस्या भइरहेछ
त्यो रोडमा छाड्ने चौपाई हैन अब सरकारले गर्नु सानो कुरो हो त्यसलाई ज्यादा लगानी लाग्दैन यो व्यवस्थापन नभएर हो के व्यवस्थापन गर्यो भने उनको जंगल छ जंगलको छेउमा मानिसले बेरोजगारी छन् उनीहरु रोजगारी बन्छ
छाडा पशु चौपाईको व्यक्ति यिनीहरुको कारण दुर्घटना भएर चाहिँ अकालमै ज्यान जानेहरुको संख्या पनि दिनदिनै प्रतिदिन बढ्दै गयो
धेरै छाडा चौपाईहरु बस्दिने र रातिको समयमा विभिन्न किसिमका एक्सिडेन्टहरु हुने दुर्घटना सडक दुर्घटना हुने अब यसमा चाहिँ अब नगरपालिका उपमहानगरपालिका वडा सबै मिलेर गर्नुपर्ने हो
We are going for a break here. Still ahead, more than 20 days without driving license services. We'll look at what's causing the delay and why the national identity card system is also facing technical problems. Welcome back. You're watching NTV World News Hour. And it's time for our cause story. Government of Nepal ultimately aims to replace all state-issued identification cards except passport with a national identity card. Without national ID card of number, you cannot even apply for certain services like passport. But the system itself has become ill, with authorities citing technical issue in upgrading the system. Savika Shrestha with Pawan Barsha brings more.
Most of the services of Nepal government are undergoing either upgrade or system change, and national identity card is one of them. The NID system is undergoing upgrade for more secured and robust cards. The Department of National ID and Civil Registration says that although some technical issues have emerged in the card issuance process, services are continuing. For the past few weeks, applicants have been experiencing difficulties in obtaining national identity cards due to technical problems. According to the department, the issue lies in the final verification stage of the application process, causing temporary inconvenience to service seekers. However, it claims that all applicants are still being issued a national identity number (NIN), meaning there has been no disruption to services that require the identification number. The department says work is underway to resolve the technical problems and all services are expected to return to normal within the next few days.
प्राविधिक रूपमा चाहिँ हामीले यसलाई झन् सक्षम बनाउनको लागि झन् प्रभावकारी बनाउनको लागि चाहिँ हामीले काम गर्दैछौं त्यसले गर्दाखेरि थोरै चाहिँ हिजोका दिनमा भन्दा आज केही दिन यता चाहिँ त्यो एप्रुभमा चाहिँ व्यक्तिको निन नम्बर एप्रुभ भएर सिस्टमको जताततै देखिन्छ नि त्यो सिस्टममा चाहिँ थोरै डाउनसाइजिङ भएको छ.
However, service seekers complain that despite the department accepting applications, they have had to endure various hassles and have not received their national identity cards on time.
हाम्रो अब नयाँ सरकार फेरिसकेपछि चाहिँ अब हाम्रो जनताहरुको लागि सेवाको लागि बनिरहेको हो नि त. त्यसको लागि चाहिँ किनकि हाम्रो जनताको लागि चाहिँ कि अलि छिटो गर्दिने काम अब बनेको टाइममा गर्दिने त्यति भए जस्तो राम्रो लाग्छ मलाई.
एउटा धेरै ढिलो भयो. सरकारलाई म यति अनुरोध गर्दै छु यसलाई छिटो भन्दा छिटो चाँडै कोसिस गर्नु सुधार गर्नु जनतालाई दुःख नहोस्.
The government is preparing to integrate the national identity card with all government services. It has already linked the card with services including passports, foreign employment, social security, and the office of the company registrar. The national identity card is also now mandatory for services such as land and property transactions, revenue-related services, telecommunications, banking, and other financial services. According to the department, it has so far issued national identity numbers to 20.17 million people and distributed national identity cards to 4 million Nepalis. Sabika Shrestha, NTV World.
It has been more than 20 days since the driving license system across the country has come to a standstill. Since 17th of July, citing technical problems and inadequate preparation during the rollout of a new digital licensing system, all services have been closed. Despite repeated postponement of the launch of the new system, the Department of Transport Management is still unclear when the service will resume. Sabika Shrestha with Pramila Bhandari brings more.
Some of the regular state-rendered services, including driving license, have come to a halt across the country for more than 20 days now. Digital server migration and upgrading the system have been cited as the reason, but the prolonged delay in resuming the services have started bothering the general public. Department of Transport Management issuing a public notice halted the services on July 17, saying a new digital licensing system is being installed. Though the initial disruption was expected to last not more than a week, the prolonged delay has affected service seekers. People are facing difficulties in registering new applications, obtaining new license, and renewing existing ones. The only active service at the moment is the distribution of printed licenses under the previous system. Despite the department's announcement that services would be available through the new online system, applicants have been forced to visit transport offices in person only to return without receiving the required services.
बदलिएको नियमअनुसार काम हुनुपर्ने हो त्यो काम भएको जस्तो चाहिँ लागेन त्यो प्राविधिकहरुको अब समस्या होला प्राविधिक कुराहरु नमिलेको होला तर अब नमिलेको होला भनेर चाहिँ नि सेवाग्राहीले त सन्तोष लिने कुरा त भएन सेवा त चाहिँ दिनु पर्यो.
According to the department, the online system is at the final stage of implementation, but persistent technical issues have delayed its operation. The department discontinued the previous license application system on 16 July 2026 and planned to launch a new technology-based electronic driving license and vehicle registration system in all 7 provinces from 17 July 2026. However, the launch was repeatedly postponed to 20 July, 24 July, and 27 July 2026 after repeated failure of the system. Despite these extensions, the new platform has yet to function fully, leaving uncertainty over when services will resume.
प्रणाली नै सुरु भएको छैन फर्मलाइज भएको छैन उहाँहरुले ट्रायल पासको रसिद पनि काटेर रसिद पनि जेनेरेट गरेर आउनु भयो ट्रायलै सुरु भएको छैन त्यस्तो त्रुटिहरु छ ती त्रुटिहरु चाहिँ सल्भ नगर्दासम्म त्यो अलिकति समस्या हुन्छ भनेर चाहिँ मन्त्रालय र विभागलाई राख्नु भएको छ नयाँ प्रणाली हो अब सुरुवात भइसकेपछि त आउने नै भयो के त्रुटिहरु आउँछ हैन गर्दै कानेर मिस्टेक हुन्छ त्यो सल्भ गर्दै जाने विषय एउटा रह्यो तर के भन्दाखेरि मिनिमम चाहिँ यो ठीक छ भनेर चाहिँ भन्नु हो भने हामीले चिठी दिएर यो गर भनेर भन्नु भने हामी सेवा दिन हामी आतुर छौं.
Among those most affected by the prolonged delay are the ones preparing to travel for foreign employment or higher studies. Sabika Shrestha, NTV World.
That was the end of our cover story. Moving on to other details. The government has appointed Yanki Ukyab as the new Chief Executive Officer of the Investment Board Nepal, while Professor Dr. Khadga Kesi has been named Chairperson of the University Grants Commission and Professor Dr. Roji Shrestha as its member secretary. The cabinet also decided to provide compensation, relief and medical treatment to those killed and injured during the recent protest in Sunsari and Siraha. In addition, it approved the first amendment to the Statistics Regulations 2083 and decided to dissolve the Nepal Intermodal Transport Development Committee by merging its responsibilities into the Nepal Transit and Warehousing Company Limited.
सर्वप्रथम प्रधानमन्त्री तथा मन्त्री परिषदको कार्यालयबाट तथ्याङ्क पहिलो संशोधन नियमावली 2083 स्वीकृत गर्ने प्रधानमन्त्री तथा मन्त्री परिषदको कार्यालयकै दोस्रो लगानी बोर्डको प्रमुख कार्यकारी अधिकृत पदमा श्री याङ्की उक्याब काठमाडौँलाई नियुक्ति गर्ने अर्को उद्योग वाणिज्य तथा आपूर्ति मन्त्रालयबाट नेपाल इन्टरमोडल यातायात विकास समिति गठन आदेश 2054 खारेज गर्ने र नेपाल इन्टरमोडल यातायात विकास समितिलाई नेपाल पारवहन तथा गोदाम व्यवस्था कम्पनी लिमिटेडसँग गाभ्न स्वीकृति दिने कृषि वन तथा पर्यावरण मन्त्रालयबाट छ पशु बत्साला र मासु जाँच ऐन 2055 चरणबद्ध रूपमा नेपाल राज्यभर लागू गर्ने अर्को महिला मन्त्रालयबाट छ बालबालिका सम्बन्धी पहिलो संशोधन विधेयक 2083 संघीय संसद समक्ष पेश गर्न स्वीकृति प्रदान गर्ने शिक्षा तथा खेलकुद मन्त्रालयबाट विश्वविद्यालय अनुदान आयोगमा रिक्त रहेको अध्यक्ष पदमा प्राध्यापक डाक्टर खड्कबहादुर केसी पर्वत र सचिव पदमा प्राध्यापक डाक्टर रोजी श्रेष्ठ भोजपुरलाई नियुक्ति गर्ने अन्तिममा सुनसरी र सिराहा जिल्लामा भएको प्रदर्शनका क्रममा मृत्यु हुने र घाइतेहरूलाई क्षतिपूर्ति राहत उपचारको व्यवस्था गर्ने
Today's Council of Ministers meeting also endorsed the phased nationwide implementation of the Slaughterhouse and Meat Inspection Act and approved the Child-Related First Amendment Bill 2083 for presentation in the Federal Parliament. Moving on, main opposition Nepali Congress has demanded the formation of an independent high-level judicial commission to conduct a fair, impartial and credible investigation into the recent Devanganj-Kaptanganj incident in Sunsari. The party claimed public trust in the government has continued to decline due to repeated governance failures and questioned why the government has remained silent despite the National Human Rights Commission already submitting its report on the incident.
जुन संस्थाको कमजोरी छ त्यही संस्थाले आफ्नो कमजोरी लुकाउन बनाइएको समितिले यसको स्थायी समाधान दिँदैन फेरि यस्ता घटना नघटोस् यो किन संवेदनशील विषय हो यस्ता चीजहरू दोहोरिएर घट्नु हुँदैन त्यसकारण सरकारी कमजोरी लुकाउने समितिका प्रति हाम्रो विश्वास छैन र त्यसैले सरकारी समिति होइन स्वतन्त्र निष्पक्ष र विश्वसनीय उच्च स्तरीय न्यायिक आयोग गठन गर्नुपर्दछ र यो मागलाई गम्भीरतापूर्वक सरकारले लिनुपर्छ
Political consultations have intensified in Nepal amid growing speculation over possible changes in provincial government leadership before the current administrations complete their terms. CPN-UML chair and former Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli held a series of meetings at his residence in Bhaktapur with senior party leaders and representatives from other political parties.
पार्टी अध्यक्षज्यूले निरन्तर हिकमत कमरेड शेरदन कमरेड त्यहाँको चाहिँ प्रदेशका अध्यक्ष लगायतका पदाधिकारी साथीहरूलाई डाकेर छलफल गरिरहनु भएको छ सहमतिको आधारमा त्यहाँ नेतृत्व आउने स्थिति बन्यो भने आउँछ नआउँदाखेरि चाहिँ बागमती र कोशीको हकमा चाहिँ संसदीय दलको बैठक बसेर निर्णय गर्छ
Oli also met separately with Koshi province leaders, including the party's provincial in charge, provincial president, office bearers, and the chief minister to discuss the evolving political situation. Now, the problematic Cooperative Management Committee has returned the savings of small depositors of Shiva Shikhar and Pashupati cooperatives. According to the committee's member secretary Robin Dhakal, 14 depositors of Shiva Shikhar cooperatives and 28 of Pashupati cooperatives have received refunds. The amount has been returned to depositors with small savings in the first phase. The work of returning savings to savers of the concerned cooperatives from the amount received from the recovery of loans from troubled cooperatives and assets management is being carried out continuously in accordance with the prevailing legal provision. The government has signed a 19-point agreement with nurse Jyoti Ranabhat, ending her hunger strike after negotiations with the Ministry of Health and Food Safety. Under the agreement, the ministry will form a task force within 7 days to recommended salaries and services benefits for nurses, midwives and other health workers employed in government, private, community hospitals and medical colleges. The deal also requires all government, private, non-governmental and teaching hospitals to implement mandatory minimum service standards. Ranabhat had been on a hunger strike since July 30th, demanding reforms in the nursing sector and had been receiving treatment in intensive care after her health deteriorated. Nepal's Ministry of Foreign Affairs has launched the MOFA Knowledge Forum to bring research and expert analysis into foreign policy discussions. Foreign Minister Shishir Khanal said research plays a vital role in shaping stronger policies, while the monthly forum will connect government officials with researchers, academics and policy experts. Officials say the initiative will support evidence-based decision-making and help guide Nepal's future foreign policy. Authorities have distributed more than 348.8 million rupees in compensation to residents affected by the under-construction 454-megawatt Kimathanka Arun hydropower project in Songkhla Sabha. District officials say a total of 450 million rupees will be paid to landowners whose property has been acquired for the project, with compensation reaching up to 690,000 rupees per ropani. Around 150 households and nearly 700 ropanis of land in Port Khola rural municipality have been directly affected by the land acquisition process. Being developed by Vidyut Utpadan Community Limited, the project is expected to cost about 93.8 billion rupees and aims to begin generating 454 megawatts of electricity within 5 years of construction. 3 men have gone missing while returning from the Mardi Himal trekking route in Kaski district. Police believe the hikers may have lost their way in forest near Badal Dara while descending from Mardi Himal High Camp. Search and rescue teams have intensified operations, but the hikers' mobile phones remain switched off, making it difficult to trace their location. International news lined up next. For now, a quick recap of the headlines. Parliamentary committee directs the government to seek clarifications from rights group, rejects allegations of political interference in judiciary. Technical upgrades disrupt Nepal's driving license and national identity system. Thousands face delays as key public services remain affected. Stray cattle continue to threaten farms and road safety across Nepal's Tarai. Experts call for stronger long-term management. U.S. President Donald Trump warns Iran will be hit very hard unless the strategic Strait of Hormuz is reopened. Odds talks were ongoing. Former Bangladeshi Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina urges global backing for democracy in Bangladesh vows to return as political tensions persist. And ICC confirms the schedule for the 2027 Cricket World Cup qualifiers. Nepal will begin its campaign from the qualification playoff stage. Now in the international updates, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has said Russia had launched a major wave of ballistic missile and drone attacks across Ukraine, killing at least 21 people and injuring dozens. Kyiv and its surrounding region suffered the deadliest strikes of the year, with additional fatalities reported in Kharkiv and Donetsk. Ukraine said Russia fired 28 missiles and 115 drones, while air defenses intercepted 98 drones, but reportedly failed to stop the ballistic missiles. President Volodymyr Zelensky said additional Patriot interceptors could have saved lives and blamed delays and reduced supplies from allies for rising casualties. Russia said it targeted military logistics and weapons facilities, while Ukrainian officials reported damage to homes, warehouses, and transport infrastructure. Climate experts are warning of escalating global weather risk as the likelihood of a strong El Nino increases while Europe experiences an unprecedented heat wave. China's National Climate Center says Pacific Ocean temperatures have entered strong El Nino monitoring status, with the climate pattern expected to persist until at least next spring and potentially disrupt rainfall temperatures and extreme weather worldwide. At the same time, Europe is enduring record-breaking heat, with Austria's capital Vienna exceeding 41 degrees Celsius for the first time and the country's largest glacier melting at an accelerated pace. Scientists say climate change and a stronger El Nino could amplify extreme weather events in the months ahead, prompting authorities to urge greater preparedness for heat, drought, and other climate-related hazards. Time now for a business update.
Global markets have gained momentum as investor confidence in artificial intelligence continues to drive technology stocks and major corporate investments. Technology shares helped lift markets in the United States and Asia as investors bet on continued growth in AI-related businesses and infrastructure. SpaceX reported second quarter revenue of $7.81 billion, nearly double from a year earlier, with its Starlink satellite internet service and AI operations driving growth. The company said Starlink generated more than half of its revenue, but heavy spending on infrastructure raised concerns among investors, pushing shares lower in after-hours trading. As companies expand their AI capabilities, markets are closely watching whether the rapid growth will translate into long-term profitability. Shares of Danish pharmaceutical giant Novo Nordisk fell after investors reacted to weaker than expected sales of its weight loss drug Wegovy, despite the company raising its full-year outlook. Novo Nordisk said second quarter adjusted sales rose 7% to 78.49 billion Danish kroner, while adjusted operating profit increased 11%. However, demand for Wegovy did not meet some market expectations. The company's shares dropped about 4.2% as investors focused on slower growth and intensifying competition in the global obesity drug market. Novo Nordisk remains one of the leading companies in diabetes and weight loss treatments, with its Wegovy and Ozempic medicines driving much of its recent growth. The company says demand for obesity treatments remains strong as it continues expanding production and global availability. The United States and Japan have carried out a joint intervention to support the Japanese yen, with Washington saying the move was aimed at preventing wider instability in Asian financial markets. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said the operation was launched after the yen fell to its weakest level in about 4 decades, raising concerns over its impact on regional currencies. The intervention, the first joint yen buying action by the two countries since 1998, came as the currency faced pressure from factors including the gap between Japanese and U.S. interest rates. Bessent said a stable yen is important not only for Japan and the United States, but also for the wider Asian economy. Washington and Tokyo have indicated they are prepared to act again if further volatility affects the currency markets. Video game giant Electronic Arts has been acquired in a $55 billion deal by a consortium led by Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund, taking one of the world's biggest gaming companies private. The investor group also includes private equity firm Silver Lake and Affinity Partners, with the transaction ranking among the largest leveraged buyouts ever recorded. EA, the maker of popular franchises including The Sims, Madden NFL, and Battlefield, will leave the public markets after more than 3 decades as a listed company. The deal values EA at about $55 billion, with shareholders set to receive $210 per share in cash under the agreement. The acquisition reflects Saudi Arabia's growing investment in global gaming and digital entertainment as part of efforts to diversify its economy beyond oil.
Time now for the sports updates. FIFA President Gianni Infantino is meeting senior officials in Morocco as he attempts to contain growing opposition following the collapse of his proposal to sell a stake in FIFA's commercial rights business. The plan drew widespread criticism over its governance, proposed private investment, and reported links to a company connected to the family of U.S. President Donald Trump, forcing Infantino to abandon the proposal. The fallout has intensified pressure on the FIFA president, with UEFA withdrawing confidence in his leadership, several European football associations pulling their support, and senior FIFA officials publicly distancing themselves from the proposal. The emergency meeting is expected to focus on restoring unity within FIFA and strengthening Infantino's position ahead of the presidential election scheduled for March next year. Nepal has confirmed its schedule for the upcoming top-end T20 series in Australia's Northern Territory, with 6 group stage matches lined up against domestic Australian teams and Bangladesh. Nepal will begin its campaign against anti-strike on August 21st before taking on Bangladesh on August 22nd. The team will then face the Hurricanes on August 24th, followed by a match against the ACT Comets on August 26th. Nepal's final 2 group stage fixtures are against the Kingsmen on August 27th and Victoria on August 29th. The top-end T20 series hosted in Australia's Northern Territory features a mix of international and Australian domestic teams, providing Nepal with valuable preparation and competitive exposure ahead of upcoming international assignments. Time for the weather updates, first from Nepal and then across the world. Before we wrap up, let's have a recap of our headlines. Parliamentary Committee directs the government to seek clarification from rights group, rejects allegation of political interference in judiciary. Technical upgrades disrupt Nepal's driving license and national identity systems. Thousands face delays as key public services remain affected. Stray cattle continue to threaten farms and road safety across Nepal's Tara. Experts call for stronger long-term management. U.S. President Donald Trump warns Iran will be hit very hard unless the strategic Strait of Hormuz is reopened as talks were ongoing. Former Bangladeshi Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina urges global backing for democracy in Bangladesh, vows to return as political tensions persist. And ICC confirms the schedule for the 2027 Cricket World Cup qualifiers. Nepal will begin its campaign from the qualification playoff stage. That's it for this edition of NTV World News Hour. Do join us through our social media and get the latest update from our official website, nepaltelevision.com. I'm Sweksha Rajak and thank you for staying with us. Good night.